Right, everybody, welcome back to the 1% podcast. And this one's going to be very chilled because it's quite nice. I actually know a guest for once. So it's good. Jay, welcome to the podcast, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Tired.
Tired if you haven't. Did you? What? No, it's
It's got.
Friday.
No, I went on a walk yesterday. Well, long story
Oh, I
short, we
saw
climbed.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you on a
yeah,
hike.
but we climbed up and we got stuck. And I actually started like genuinely panicking, thinking like, am I gonna have to get rescued here? But we got out. But because we were stuck, I was just exhausted when I got back
Fuck, how'd you get stuck?
because my friend had a Garmin. So we went up the route and we got up to this like the obviously the higher you go, the more snow, the more ice. So it was getting snowy, it was getting icy, it was getting well sketchy. You know when you start worrying about injuries in your training and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna snap my knee or something here. But we kept going anyway, and then we took the Garmin stopped working. So we took a wrong route and we were climbing down and it was like sheer ice and like drops. And it wasn't a walk. I was like scaling down on the ice. And I was
Fuck.
saying to my mate Adam, bearing in mind it's like -2, 3 at the top. I said to Adam, I was like, surely this isn't the way. But anyway, we kept going and there was like clouds covering and we got to a certain position and the clouds cleared and we seen it was just a cliff drop. So we literally couldn't go that way. So we were like, right, we're gonna have to turn around. But it was too icy to get back up. So we
Oh.
were at the edge of, yeah, we were at the edge of this cliff and then we couldn't get up. And I said to my mate, you know when you give your friend the look, he gave me the look and I was like, we're in trouble here, aren't we? And I was like, fuck, what are we actually gonna do? But we managed to like just get up around the back. But it took us about 2 hours being stuck.
Shit. Where did you
And then
where
when we
was it? What mountain was it? Or what hill
Keswick it was called in the Lake District. It
Oh, okay.
wasn't high, it was just high enough elevation for like snow, ice. So it was
Yeah.
fine. And then once we went above the clouds, it was freezing cold.
Yeah.
But I got really cold because I wasn't moving because we were stuck. And I said to Adam, we need to get down quick because like I'm cold here. And then when we got to the bottom, like the dust settled.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh my God. I was like, that was genuinely like scary.
Shit, man. No wonder you're fucking knackered. Jeez, what time do you leave? What time do you leave and then end up getting
We
back?
left at 5 in the morning, got back at 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
it was long. It was long. Getting stuck was like, it just delayed us massively.
Jesus. Well, that's
It
a
made
nice.
me think, oh, if I do go on another walk like that, like I'm gonna take some bits, in
Yeah.
case it's because I had nothing on me and I had like cargo pants on, so I was cold.
Jesus. You took meals and stuff with you, but obviously.
Yeah, I thought I would have died with chicken and rice. I would have got one last meal then.
Jesus. Well, there you go. That's an intro to the podcast. Fucking almost died. Had to be rescued by the fucking mountain
Yeah,
stuff as
plan
well.
your route.
Damn, that's crazy, man. No, man, I'm very chilled. I normally start these podcasts off with almost just like more so to like, what was your upbringing like? What was life like kind of when you were kind of into that kind of high school era? I don't like going all the way back, because none of us have got time for that shit. So,
On
um,
my high school, no one's ever asked me that before. Um, my upbringing was very well. So I'd say from let's tie it into like the gym and training then. So I'd say from like say year 7 in school. So when you first start school. So when I transitioned from primary school to high school, I went to a high school where it was local, but none of my friends from primary school went. So it was all like new people. So it took me quite a while to settle in there. And then I would say from like year 7 up to year 9, um, I wasn't fat. I was just a weird. Do you know what I look like? E.T. I had skinny arms, like a thin neck, and just this like weird belly, and I didn't sit well with me. So that was always on my mind growing up. But school, I'll tie that in later. But like school and like education wise, like, I didn't do that well in school. I just couldn't I think I told you that before, haven't I? Like I just failed all my exams. I didn't really I couldn't concentrate.
yeah,
I don't know what it was. I think with me, I can't. I'm not stupid. I just can't focus on something if I'm not interested in it.
yeah.
Like if I
Well,
don't have a genuine interest in it and I can't see the long-term goal.
yeah,
Like I'm like when someone was teaching me like like algebra and Shakespeare and stuff. I was just sat there like,
This is shit. Yeah.
yeah, but that's what my school was. That's what school was like for me. And then when we got to, I never really had like something like I genuinely enjoyed. And then obviously I started training in what year was that? I think it was the end of year 9 I started training. So I would have
That's
been,
quite early. So that's like what, 14?
yeah, I started training hard quite early as well.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend called Carl Levis, and he was like in the little friendship group. And like the first friend that builds like a chest. Yeah. And you're like, how does that happen? So he invited me to the gym, Body FX. And then I did a workout with him, absolutely terrified. Walked up the stairs, you could hear like weights clanging and people screaming and that, and it just stunk of sweat. I was like, oh my God, still
Oh,
in school.
Jesus. Because
Started training.
that's a gym you were at still, weren't you, for a long time until
Yeah,
recently?
I've trained there for like 15 years, yeah. I just fluctuate between there and
Jeez.
Prophecy Gym now.
Yeah.
But I started training with him in school, and then that just sort of like took my attention away from school in like a good way.
Mm.
Um, but then it got to a point where I got started getting like really into it. And then I ended up like getting stronger than Carl to the point where I had to leave him behind. And then I just started training with other people. But like that was the part in set I would say like my gym like sort of journey where I started like get because I started training like pretty seriously at like 15
Yeah, wow.
because I was like fully invested in it because the gym was a hardcore bodybuilding gym.
Yeah.
And like if you train there, it was like you go harder, you go home kind of thing. So from the get-go, like it was it's not like today. It's not like if you went in the gym there, then you used to have to go to the gym and leave your phone in a cup, and then you just have to. No one had the phone in the gym. No one, you could take it, but no one did. Do you know what I mean? It was just like a
Yeah.
thing. If you had your phone, you were a bit of a pussy. So everyone used to leave it in a cup and then go and train.
That's
And
cool.
that's just yeah, it was sick. It's still sort of like that now, but back then it was like everyone was just banging it. It was
Yeah.
sick.
That's
I
sick.
just I just loved it. That's that's like where I sort of like transitioned into training there.
What did you, this is because I always go into what was, because I don't, you got siblings and things like that. What was family life?
No,
No, what was family? What did your family think of you getting kind of like training at that age? And obviously, like,
that was they didn't really understand it.
mm,
Because I'm an only child, so my mum's adopted. So my mum's adopted. So my mum's side of my family is really small. My granddad died, my nan died, so it's literally just my mum on her side. And my auntie died as well, so there's not really any family on my mum's side.
yeah, wow,
Got quite a big family on my dad's side, but I'm only like in contact with my auntie and a few uncles and stuff, so that's small. So my family life is quite small. I don't have any like family gatherings or family meetings. Some people that have like a family party or a
like every
birthday.
weekend, some, yeah, you're like, yeah,
Yeah, and they have a birthday and like 20, 30 people will turn up. Like I don't have that. It's just me.
yeah,
Like I'll see my dad, I'll see my auntie, and like that's sort of it.
yeah. I
Um, what else did you ask me then?
think that was kind of it. No, I
You
said
asked
what
me
was they
something
like
about
with your gym and stuff like
that
that.
was it. That was it. I think they were just concerned about like me getting injured because before I started joining that gym because I was like unhappy with the way I looked. I did get like remember the York bench presses?
Oh yeah, those sketchy benches.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
one of them in my bedroom and I was working out and my mum was just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because I was like 14. But I think they were just, do you know, like when they just don't understand, I'd be drinking protein shakes and that, and they'd be
yeah,
Googling it, thinking, oh, it's bad for your kidneys, you need to stop drinking that stuff. And and I was spending all my time at the gym and reading like fucking, like Flex magazine and that.
yeah,
I think they
yeah,
thought I was like turning a little bit. They were like, what's he looking at men for at 60?
yeah. It,
But I think knew it was something positive because it was keeping me out of trouble. Because where I live, like, you can get into trouble. Like, there's a lot of people like a lot of people I grew up with went the wrong way.
Yeah.
getting going. A lot of them are in jail now, or they've been to jail, or they've done some mad shit. But after school finished, I'd go to gym,
Mm,
come home, eat, and go to bed. So that sort of kept me in a good position. That. So
yeah.
I think they couldn't understand it, but they knew it was something good.
Yeah. I think that's also is like I guess as a parent as well, it's like the fact they're only worried about kind of like you getting injured and things like that, it's always a positive, isn't it, really? Like it's not
Yeah.
like they just crack on with it. We don't understand it. It's fine, but like it's not
I
like
think they were also concerned about because the gym I was training at had a really bad reputation. Like
yeah.
that's where all the drug dealers went. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was on steroids. Like, if you were a bad name, like that's the gym that you went to. So because I was there, they were sort of like,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense though, because also young as well. If you were like 17, 18, it'd be like, it's kind of like
But
you
I made friends with them all. So my mum would say like, "Isn't loads of dodgy people there?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I speak to them all the time, but they're really nice people." And then she was like, "Hmm."
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So she
I
knew I
think
was like training with them and like that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you kind of get later on in life as well, like you've been in multiple gyms, vice versa, like you kind of realize the biggest, scariest people, yeah, they might have been in trouble. They're actually the biggest teddy bears now. Like, yeah, people fuck up in life and people,
Yeah.
like you say, people have probably done their time and shit like that, but it kind of
What people like that, non-gym people don't realize is like when you're in a gym, like it doesn't matter like what you do. If you're in the
no,
gym
it's
and
like it's a different like everyone's like a clean canvas sort of thing. Yeah.
if you're there to train, like you're there to train. Like you don't walk in the gym and say, "Oh, like what were you up to last night?" Do you say that? Or it's just all about training, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You
How many
don't
people do you know in the gym that you don't know the name, you just know the face, and you chat to them in the gym? You just go, "Oh, what's happening?"
yeah,
And
so
like,
and you literally know their split, you know everything, you even know their diet and shit like that before you even like
yeah, you just don't know the name.
yeah, that's so true, man. That's so true.
I think about Benoist. I know like loads of
Oh,
people in Benoist, but if you said what's his name, no idea.
not good.
It's
Yeah.
just like the one with big biceps and like a skin face,
And it narrows them down to like 50. No, it's
literally.
awesome. And then so when did you kind of so obviously like well, that was probably like 14, 15 when you properly got into the gym and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
did you go to college or anything like that? Because obviously like me and you both failed school.
Yeah.
Did you scrape in
Yeah.
something?
So I did school, failed all my exams in school. And then I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. But at the time, I was really into like motorbikes. That was sort of like my side thing. I was just a bit of a speed freak, and like motorbikes at the time were like the closest thing I could get. So I used to like ride motorbikes around the estate and stuff. So as soon as I turned 16, I was like, right, I'm gonna get one on the road. So I went to college and did motorcycle mechanics. It's like a random. I just
Yeah.
thought if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna try and do something I enjoy. So I do motorcycle mechanics. And like at that time, looking back, yeah, I should have done personal training, but everyone at the time, like family and stuff, was like, ah, there's no money in it. Don't do that. So I listened, but I was young.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done. But yeah, I did 3 years of motorcycle mechanics, 3 years as well in college, and then left college, tried to get a job, couldn't get a job. And when I started doing research on how much motorcycle mechanics get paid, I was just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
So it was just 3 years wasted pretty much.
Yeah, it's always I guess it's always one of those things, isn't it? Now it's like because then like now that I know you're into cars and shit like that now, I'm like you probably
Mm.
there's a lot of fucking flies in there. It's disgusting. Um but now that I know like you're into cars and stuff like that, I bet some of those things that you learned 3 years ago, you're using those skills today if you do cars.
Yeah,
Like that.
I learned a hell of a lot in college. Like a hell of a lot. Like if you give me a motorbike now and said, give it an engine rebuild, do this, I'd do it no problem.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's from like learning in college and just learning like messing with my own shit. Because I've had like 15 motorbikes in my time and just took them all to pieces and rebuilt them all. But that was just something I think looking back, that was something that just kept my mind busy. Because I'm the type of person that can learn with like looking, touching, feeling, and like writing shit down, doing my own stuff. So that kept me busy in the summer months. That
yeah. I think obviously knowing you now, you're very like when there's one thing, you just fucking home in on it. And especially if you enjoy it.
yeah,
Like there's those few things in life, like you say, like if it's mechanics with the bikes and then obviously like your cars and things like that, your bodybuilding, things like that. There's a few things like which is great that you just like fucking obsess over. Which is absolutely insane. Like it's great. And it shows though, because when you talk about it and things like that, it's just like it's a spark that you can see in you,
Mm,
which is awesome, man. Because it's like at fucking 17, 18, like doing that sort of shit. Like that's where like I'm I would rather my child do something hands-on like that because they're actually going to be learning way different stuff unless they want to go be a doctor or a lawyer. But I'm like, just gonna go study an A level in business. Ain't gonna do shit for you. Go do mechanics. Go do something with your
mm,
hands. Like you're gonna learn way more with different areas of life than you are anything else.
yeah.
But
I looking back, I wish like if someone came to me in school in like year 10 and said, look, in 10 years, you're going to be an online coach. You're going to need to know numbers. You're going to need to know nutrition, business. I'd have switched on in school and been like, right,
yeah,
sit. If someone was like, look, you're going to go to Dubai, you're going to be driving fast cars, you need to be well educated on this topic, I'd have been like, wow. But it was all, you're going to be an electrician, you're going to be a plumber, a bricklayer. I was like, oh my God.
yeah,
I thought that was it. But that's what school conditions you to think.
mate. Don't I even like
PT coaching, like what I'm doing now, like what we're doing, that wasn't a thing in school. Like no one knew what it was. No one would push for that. Just was didn't exist.
no. But even in the PT thing, man, I don't know about you. When you did like obviously you ended up doing a PT course, right?
Yeah.
Um, mate, fucking shit anyway. Like honestly, like you get
I didn't learn anything from it.
I can't remember shit. I literally
I
can't
remember
remember shit.
doing some parts of it thinking I need to do this to get my qualification, but I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I remember literally like one thing because I always failed on it. So I had to redo my practical and nutrition a million times. And if, all I remember is Gooley tendon. Literally the only fucking thing that I remember, the only word. I don't even know why. But yeah, man, like, they never taught you how to like, all right, cool. So when you do this, like it's like cool, you can train someone, but it's like here's a driving license. Now you have to go learn drive on the real
Yeah,
life.
that's good. A good way of looking at it, actually.
But then also just like business. I'm like, okay, like did you not like, all right, cool. So you need 10 clients and that's gonna earn you X so that you can
That's the dumb thing they don't teach you. That
yeah.
that's one thing I'm grateful for when I first got my PT job in Pure Gym. There was a guy there, he's like one of my best friends now. I'm actually a godfather to his son now.
Oh wow, cool.
Um, yeah, we just ended up being dead good mates. He was the manager at Pure Gym, but when I joined Pure Gym, obviously Pure Gym wasn't my kind of vibe, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna leave here. But he kept me on and sort of taught me the business back end of it. Because
Yeah,
you know what it's like when you first start PT, it's just like PT sessions, cash in hand, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
You don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to get clients. And it wasn't working for me. And I was like, I'm gonna leave. And he's like, no, 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 ride it out. And then sent me on a few business courses and
That's really
like seminar things and stuff, yeah. Like within Pure Gym. And it did actually teach me a lot. And then that's when I started making money then. Well, as soon as it clicked, because I got into PT and I was like in the staff room talking about like training hard and like where the background I come from. And
yeah,
people were just looking at me like I was a fucking alien. I was like,
yeah,
what is going on? And then a lad pulled me to side. I can't remember his name, but it was basically some skinny lad, and he didn't even look like he looked like he had proper noodle arms. Didn't even look like he trained, and he was full, making like dough in the
yeah,
gym. And it didn't make sense to me. I was like, how is this skinny lad making all this dough? And like and when he was training people, he didn't even train him. He just used to talk.
yeah,
Didn't make sense. But I said to him, I pulled him to one side and said, how are you doing this? And then he said, as soon as you realize that PT is a business, it's not just training, he said, that's when you'll make dough. And then that just stuck with me then.
yeah, that's good. That's good, man. Like, because I did it. When did you so okay, I'm going back. You did 3 years at motorbike mechanics, right?
Yeah.
Then after that, obviously didn't find what you wanted to do, didn't get a job. When did you decide to do PT from there? Or obviously go into
So I
did you
did
work in
3 years.
between?
Yeah, yeah. So I did 3 years in college. And then I just had, oh, that's what happened. I got a job I worked in a hotel.
Okay.
Absolute horrendous. Hated it. I even left a note on the wall because I found this wall in the table cupboard where people used to write stuff with marker pens, shift workers,
Yeah.
and people would write like John shift and then the date, and it'd be like absolute hell. And I left one like JB signing off for the last time, seeing a bit of a finger like that. Anyway, I did that, and then I had a girlfriend at the time who was with, and her dad had a like a car accessory company called Waxacar, and I got a job working for him.
Nice.
It was like £200 a week warehouse work. It was absolute hell though, hated it. And then I ended up splitting up with her, and then kept working at the place
Yeah.
for her dad because I had to work. So I was just in this like weird position where I was working for like my ex-girlfriend's dad, and I hated my job. Oh, it was hell, mate. It was really bad.
Fuck. Yeah.
It got to the, do you know one of the ones where you wake up in the morning, and you're just like, fuck, I hate my life.
Yeah. 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 We've all been
I used to
there.
drive my car to the bottom of the car park before I'd go in and just sit in my car for like an extra 10 minutes, just like, oh
That's
God.
bad. Yeah.
It was really bad, mate. Honestly, it was like probably one of the most depressing times of my life, that. Because I
Yeah.
remember just thinking, is this it?
Yeah.
But
That's
I
a
did that for, do you know what though? Like, it was horrible, but I'm fucking glad I did it because it motivated me.
God,
Because I
yeah.
just hated it. Every day that passed, I was like, and that's another thing, yeah, that fueled my training. Because
True.
I'd go to
Yeah.
work, I'd be fucking pissed off, depressed, and I'd leave the work and I'd go to the gym and I'd just be an angry bastard. I just used to train so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, I used to destroy my, you know, when you're young and like you recover like
think
that,
I think I
you
saw
grow
that
in,
that deadlift video you posted. That's got to be
that
some.
was the time. That
Was
was the
it?
time. Yeah, I was
I'll show.
just used to go in the gym and I used to train with a lad, Moggy, and he was just like, right, let's fucking rack some weight on this bar and just go. That's how I used to train.
Yeah, yeah.
There was no top set, there was no back off set, there was no structure. It was like, right, who's
Just
lifting the
fucking send
most?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we were on par with strength. So if the reason I did that 20 rep set is because he did 19. So I was like, right, fucking hell. And I just remember thinking, I got to rep 10 and I was like, "Okay, I don't know if I've got another 10 here." But I just
Yeah.
did it. But yeah, that was that. So back to the warehouse job. So I ended up leaving the warehouse job and getting a job on the motorway because I had a friend who I met in the gym, Body FX, another connection through the gym, big lad called Chris, and he was working on the motorway, and he was telling me about how much he was earning. You know, when you're just training next to someone on the bench and they're talking, just like crossing
Yeah.
paths, he was like, yeah, yeah, I'm doing this. And he told me he earns like £120 a shift, which right now isn't that much. But then I was like,
Get
£120
back
a
then.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, what are you doing? He's like, I work on the motorway. And then he told me how to get my tickets and like get trained up. So I managed to get a job um part-time as a trainee on that in Liverpool, in Kirby, proper rough place. Got there part-time, started getting all my tickets, stayed there for a year, doing like traffic lights and because you have to work your way up.
Yeah.
So I was doing like traffic lights, you know, like the little stop and go boards and stuff.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
But
but
then I
that's
moved from
yeah,
it
you
was
saying that.
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say Steph said that here. She said like those things up here get paid a fucking fortune here.
well, it's dangerous job, isn't it?
Dangerous
If it's
work,
cars and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then I transitioned. There's basically low speed and high speed. And I wanted to be on high speed because they were the big earners, you know, on the motorway.
Yeah.
And then I finally got my tickets and worked my way up to the motorway. So I was on like the big wagons, you know, dropping cones off at night.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that. It was quite good because it was you got put into a clan. So there'd be three people in a wagon. So there'd be the driver, no, the four people, there'd be the driver, a cone dropper, and then like two people on. And it was a good laugh because it was just you and the boys.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that and I made a good group of mates. But that got to the point where I got made redundant. The Liverpool yard got shut down on Christmas Day, on Christmas Eve.
Oh, mate, Jesus.
Called us all in the yard and brought an envelope out, thinking we all thought it was a Christmas bonus.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
all like, yeah, yeah. We opened it and it was like, this is your last day. You've been made redundant. And everyone was like, what the fuck? One of the lads actually chased the manager around the yard and he was going to twat him.
To be fair, you would. What, like not even just like just in an envelope, not being like, oh, sorry, boys, giving you a bit of like a
He
yeah.
opened the letter, Tomo his name was, and he went, "What the fuck?" He just went looking for him, banging the door down. But from there,
Jesus.
I rang the Welsh depot,
Okay.
Wrexham, the same day, and I managed to get a job in there. I said, "Look, I've been made redundant. I need a job today," and they gave me a job. So I went straight from one job to the other. But when I was there, I was like, they put me back down to low speed because
No.
that's all they had.
Yeah.
And I just started finding it depressing. It was like degrading. You're just stood there in the rain and the cold, especially if it's like -2 outside and you're putting coat. I was just like, this surely there's more than this.
Yeah.
And then I had a like there was like I remember it was like a like pivotal moment where I sat there with my mate Jamie, who was like my work buddy, and he's like, "Why don't you do PT?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't know." And then we sat there and I calculated how many PT sessions I'd need to make the money that I was earning on the motorway. And when I
Okay.
calculated it, it was like 4 hours a day. And I was like, I'm doing 12-hour shifts here and I need 4 hours PT. And then it just clicked. I was like, fuck, like, what am I going to do? And then I was speaking to my family about it and stuff. I was like, oh, thinking about doing PT. And then I told my auntie, and my auntie was like, look, I know you don't like your job. If you want to do PT, I'll pay for your PT qualification.
Nice, man. Shit.
And I was like, fuck it. She was like, she's like, it's what you need. If you're really passionate about it and you want to do it, she's like, I'll fund it because it's what you need to do. It's the path
That's
you should
sick.
go down. I know, yeah, because she was like, look, she said to me once, she was like, look, I can tell you don't like your job, you hate it, and you don't want to do it forever, do you? I was like, nah. And then she paid for it, and then I'd done that,
How
and
old were you
then
then, roughly?
I think it was 23.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was
Shit, man, you did
23,
quite
yeah.
a lot in those years, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I did. I was starting about back. Do you know what? In between that, I did like little side. I tell you a funny thing, actually. I don't know if I've told you this.
I can
While I
imagine
was,
this is just the northern answer I'm gonna get, like a proper northern you. It's gonna be.
you've never had this on the podcast. When I was doing my motorway work, I used to do naked butlering on the side.
Oh, sick. That's good money, I bet. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what? It was one. It was long story short. I got into the job right. My mate was doing it,
Yeah.
and he used to get pissed all the time. He's dead unreliable. So he said to me once, "Look, I've got a naked butler job. Do you want to go and do it? And I'll just pay you." And I was just one of those moments, and I was like, "Do you know what? I was lean. I was in shape. I was
Yeah.
confident. I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, yeah, I'll do it." He said, I'll come to you with the first one to show you how to do it. And then if you like it, you can keep doing my jobs. So basically what he was doing was pocketing a bit of cash, wasn't he? And then palming me off
Yeah.
looking back. Um, but I went and did it, was absolutely terrified. Did it anyway. And then I kept doing it. Um, and then I got a phone call off this guy and he was like, are you James? Are you doing Danny's butler jobs? And I was like, yeah. He's like, right. He's like, you shouldn't be doing that. He's like, that's like Danny shouldn't be doing that. He's like, but he's like, you've been getting 5-star reviews, so do you want a job? I was like, yeah. Obviously talked about like the pay structure and stuff and like what would be involved. So got a job doing that. And then cause I was so into the gym, I never used to get pissed and I used to do really good jobs.
Yeah.
So I'd go get a 5-star review. So he started giving me all the high paid, like high tier jobs.
Sick.
So I was working like Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday night on like £50 an hour. And
Wow, that's decent.
yeah, but all that cash I was stacking. I wasn't spending any of it.
Yeah, that's well good.
But I did that for about 2 years alongside the motorway work.
Shit. How does that work? Is it when like is it lots of I guess it's a lot of like hen dos and things like that, right?
Yeah,
That
so it's like well look, what I got was so like the lower tier jobs are like hen do's, parties, stuff like that. They're like the lower tier jobs when you're new, but the higher
okay.
tier ones are contracted. So let's let's say Steph gets married. You and
Yeah.
Steph get married, and she has like a hen do, and she books a hen do at the Shankly Hotel, and all the girls are staying there.
Right.
When she makes a booking, there'll be an option. Like, is it your hen do? Would you like a naked butler? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so
Oh, okay, right.
So if she booked like a naked butler, I'd get a notification and it'd be like 7 o'clock Shankly, party of 20 to Hendu, and I'd get bookings through.
Yeah.
And then I'd just organize the weekend and I'd have like 2 or 3 jobs per weekend, but they were all in Liverpool. So
Sick.
I'd just go to Liverpool, park up, and I'd walk from job to job to job, like around the city centre. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, that's well good, man. That's sick.
Because I was so into training, yeah, I could go out, socialize, completely sober, make money, party with
Yeah.
all these girls, like have an amazing
And just
weekend, and
go home,
just
yeah.
didn't affect training. I'd make money and I'd just crack on. I was socializing. I was socializing more than all my friends who were calling me boring because I was into training and stuff. I was like, hang on, like, you've got no idea what I get up to on the weekend.
That's crazy, man. I've had a couple of mates that have done that in the past, but I think it was just like a one-off thing. I never knew the structure behind it. That's well
That was
good.
one of the best things I ever did that because it built my confidence as well.
God, yeah, I bet. Yeah, because what you
Because
just
the
get.
first few jobs I was really timid and like because when you do a butler job, yeah, you get snuck in because obviously it's a surprise.
Oh
So like
yeah.
the first few times I'd be getting changed and I could like hear all the girls outside and I'd be like, oh fuck. I'd have to like psych myself up and be like,
Yeah.
come on. But
Also,
eventually,
I think it's one of those things where people like assume guys are very confident in those situations when actually like
wait, it
it's
don't matter how
really
confident you are, yeah,
scary.
when there's 30 girls
Yeah.
screaming and you're the only lad and you have to reveal yourself. Just
Oh my God. That's so cool, man. Good on you. That's fucking sick. I'm glad you did something like that. That's well
yeah,
good.
it was that was I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I've met loads of people doing it as well. Like loads of people you would never ever meet.
No, that's what even like that's the thing, isn't it? I always think that with like people that I don't know, it's a bit different, but when people do like escorting and stuff like that, when they like pay for people to go to like events with
Yeah, you
them and
meet
stuff like
meet
that,
loads of random
I bet
people.
they meet
Yeah,
some, yeah, important people
I
as well.
did
You don't know who's just having a
I did a
party.
party once. It was all these women. There's like 20 women, and they were all like a bit like hench. And I was like, what's going on here? And they were like, oh yeah, it's the Cheshire Police um party. And I was like, oh. It's like, I was in a room with all these coppers and that, and I was just making them do wild shit.
That's so good. That makes it way better. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it was funny. It was just so funny, mate. It was funny. I had such a laugh.
Oh, that's epic, man. Damn. So those 2 years or those couple of years, yeah, you that's good. Especially walking into the PT industry there, like even just financially, you got a lot saved as up as well, which is great. And
Yeah,
then
I saved quite a lot of dough because I never went out, I never like partied, I never wasted. So in my earlier years, like I always had this like mental thing in my head. I was like, I want a fast car, do you know what I mean, or a fast bike or something. So I need to save that squirrel fund.
yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, fuck. Well, it shows obviously later down and even now. That's perfect, man. Also, just having those skills, the skills of just learning to like sacrifice the short term, like fucking being what,
Mm,
23 and under, being like, yeah, I could just get in 50 quid, fucking hourly rate. God, you give that to like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy trainers, so I'm gonna get tattoos. That's
exactly, yeah.
what I
I used
did.
to live off my motorway wage and just stack my butler wage. That's how I used to do it.
Mate,
I
great
used to
skill.
put my butler wage into a separate account and just let it build.
Sick. That's epic, man. And then diving, I guess diving back a little bit is obviously so your nan, your auntie did your PT for you and things like that. So you did your, is it 6 weeks? Is that how long it is? I don't know.
Sure, I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it was something
I
like
think
that.
it's meant to be 6 weeks, but it took me longer because I couldn't go to and from a place to learn it. I got given the coursework and I'd have to complete the way I
Oh,
had it
yeah.
structured, I had to meet in the middle. So because I was still working on the motorways and I couldn't
Yeah.
tell my manager, because he obviously just sacked me. I used to get given like one piece of coursework, I'd go away, complete it, and then I'd have to bring it back and get it marked, and I'd have to like go back and do the practical and stuff. So it took a little bit longer for me.
Yeah, because I did I was working part-time at the time, or I pulled down to part-time to do the course, and it was like a Monday to Friday, like 9 5 sort of thing. So I just worked on like yeah, I worked at a nightclub on like a Thursday, Friday nights, and then I was working at a retail shop on like the Friday afternoons and weekends and things like that. Yeah, I think it was 6 weeks. Yeah, so you probably did it over. I think it's like an online version as well now, and it's like a little bit longer. So you probably just I don't know, did it a bit longer that way or something.
Yeah, it all went straightforward though.
Yeah, and then that's when you went into Pure.
Yeah, so I got a job. I actually got a job in Pure Gym. it's actually quite funny because I got a job in Pure Gym, and the manager, I didn't have my certificates yet, and the manager was like, I was like, look, I've done it, and I showed him like some sort of like visual proof, and he's like, right, okay,
Yeah.
you can get your job, and then when your certificates come, just bring them in the office, and we'll photocopy them, and that'll be done.
Yeah.
And then he gave me a job, and then the guy or the company that I did my PT qualification with ghosted me and
Oh, fuck.
disappeared because what he'd done is taken loads. He'd done my qualification, but then taken loads of payments off other people
Oh,
and then ghosted them. So he took payments for the courses and then left the country.
fucking hell.
So I was saying to my manager, I was like, look, I've done it, but this guy's just ghosted me. And he's like, well, if you don't get your qualification, you're gonna have to leave because you're not a qualified PT. And I couldn't PT anyone at this point. I was just on the gym floor. So I was
Yeah,
in this like
yeah.
weird limbo period for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh,
And it
shit.
got to the point where a friend did the PT qual as well. He's a bit more ballsy than me, but he basically got in contact with him and he's just like, look, where's my quals kind of thing. Left him a message, and then the guy turned up at the gym with my certificate the next day. So that was done. But then, yeah, that was weird. That was
That's
weird.
bizarre, man. Yeah, that's
I think
weird.
he just tried to leave the country, but I think like he shit his pants when my mate got in touch with him. And he's like, oh fucking hell, I should probably do. Because I was messaging him saying, look, I'm gonna get sacked. You need to bring this in now, and he's ignoring me.
Yeah, wow. God knows what your mate said. He's probably
Well, I
gonna.
know what he said. I know what he said, but I won't say it on here.
Oh, yeah, you don't need to say that.
But
It's
yeah,
fine.
let's just say everyone got their certificates. But yeah, that was sorted. And then I got a job in Pure, yeah. I was
Damn.
at Pure Gym for 2 years.
Okay, yeah, yeah, about the same as me. Yeah, I did the exactly same.
But I was gonna quit. I was gonna quit, like I said earlier, because I went from working doing I was still doing a bit of butlering, but I was doing work on the motorway, having what it's like when you go from secure income,
Yeah, man.
self-employed income, and then that there's that transitional period, isn't there, where you're like, oh shit, I've got to actually make my own money.
Or yeah,
And I was on the gym
quite down.
floor, had no clients, no money coming in, and I was spending time on the gym floor, and I thought, I'm not making any money. Like, what am I doing here? So I started doing agency work on the motorway at night. So I would work night shifts, 12-hour shifts, and then I'd go straight from my night shift straight to Pure Gym and do
Wow.
a day shift there. So I was doing like 24 hours work, and I just squeezed training. I still got my training, my cardio, all that in. So when everyone tells me they've not got time, shut up. Um, but I did that, and then my manager started noticing that I was looking tired, and he was like, "Why do you look like absolutely fucked?" And I was like, "I'm doing night shifts." And he's like, "Muppet." And then that's when he started like putting me on because I said I was going to quit because I'm not making no money, and then he's just started like really like like being on me.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
He'd be like, "Right, I want you to get speak to 5 people today on the gym floor, start like outreach in person."
Yeah.
Like, I want you to go and speak to these people. I want you to get 2 clients. I want you to train, do this on your social media, just like all the stuff. And then once I started like put, getting my head down with that, I started getting clients then, and I just started getting busier.
That's really good, man. Because I don't think maybe now, I think Pure Gym and those sort of time periods, there wasn't really like it wasn't the same, not even that long ago. Because I remember that like we opened a Pure Gym, so it was like the first kind of PT crew, the gym managers. One of the gym managers was insane, but the one of them just didn't help at all. Like he was
Oh,
just
as the exact same with
yeah, like
mine. We had the amazing one, and then he left after I was fully booked, thank God. And then
yeah,
this new guy come in, didn't have a clue, and all these new PTs were coming in, and they just flaked, and I was like, wow.
yeah. I
It was
remember.
just it wasn't the pure gym role. It was just because of who Charlie was. He
Yeah,
just knew his shit.
yeah, 100%. I remember to be fair at that Pure Gym, so I was there for yeah about 2 years, and so what was it? It was I think it worked out at two trainers a month I saw leave. It was
Yeah, about to say
insane.
there's like you have the people that stay, don't you? And then the
Yeah,
people
there
that
was
come
like
and the
three
people
or
that go.
four, and then there was like the other out of 10, it was just rotating.
You can tell as well. You can tell where a PT comes in after 2 3 weeks. You're like, it's not
Yeah,
happening.
nah, you could
Some
tell. Yeah,
people, yeah, unless you're like hungry for it and like you're proper. Because
I
you'll have
just
probably seen some PTs come and just wait for clients to fall on the lap, and
no.
then they get frustrated and they're like, and they
But people,
leave. But
but
it's,
people do that with online coaching now. I'm like, just because you look great
yeah,
and you like post a fucking picture and shit like that, people do not come to you. Like, no
no.
way, they do
They
not come.
used to. They used to.
They used to back in the earlier days, yeah. Now
But
not.
now it's like yeah, it's different now.
Yeah, God, yeah. It's like even just like, oh yeah, click the link in my bio. I'm like, it's good to do. One person will do it in the whole week, and you tell people to do it every day.
I used to put I used to put when I first started coaching, I'd put like my application form out and just get 20 applications.
Yeah, it's fucking good, isn't it? Yeah,
Just like I'd just put it on my story. I'd just be like coaching form.
that's so good, man.
Bam, bam, bam.
That's so good. I don't think I've ever had that, to be honest. That's bizarre. That's crazy.
When I first started coaching, I think with me though, when I first started coaching, it wasn't everyone was warm.
True, true. Yeah, it
So
makes
I built up a really good reputation, like locally. Like everyone knew me as like, you know, the trainers to get in decent shape, I trained hard, and I'd already
that's good.
been shredded, competed, people had seen me. So I'd already people knew. So as
Yeah,
soon and because I was fully booked PT as well, like it was quite hard for people to get in with me. So as soon as I put out there that was I actually took on a coaching client as an experiment.
yeah,
A fella called Colin. He said he wanted to get lean, and I was like, right. I said, I'll coach you £10 to check in. Yeah, he used to meet me in the gym. I said, just promise me that like you'll do what I say because I need you to get shredded. And I got him shredded out of his. It's the perfect first client.
yeah,
Got him shredded out of his nut. And then as soon as I posted that,
yeah,
it just snow. I got loads of inquiries then. He was fucking peeled.
yeah. That's sick. You always do. You need that one. I remember coaching actually like a guy that I met. I was working in the nightclubs with him, and he was good. He was into the gym then and things like that. And then 2 years later, we kind of were just talking back and forth for that 2 years. And he was like, "Oh, like you're getting into your fitness now." And I was like, "Yeah, like it's good. I enjoy it, sort of thing." And like I'm coaching now and things like that. I was at Pure Gym. He was like, "Oh, I want to do this." And like I was like, "Mate, I'll coach you for free for 12 weeks if you do a shoot at the end of it."
That's a good idea. Yeah, I should have
Yeah.
done a shoot.
And I was just like, and then yeah, just he absolutely got in fucking killer shape. And that was literally the first one there, and it's just spirals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it goes. I had a really good like community in body in that gym I grew up in.
Oh, I bet, man. They've seen you from like fucking 15 years old, mate.
Yeah,
That's the
but
big
I
difference.
used to do like, do you know what? It sounds mad, yeah. But one thing I used to do that got me loads of clients in the summer, I got. I was, there's this period where I'll send you a picture where when I was doing those deadlifts, I
Yeah.
was like shredded, but I was like eating to fuel training, and I was just so full and like pumped, and I just looked sick. I knew I looked sick, and I just used to go to the gym with Moggy, and we just used to train. I used to train with my top off,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, it was like a marketing thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sick. Yeah.
People would be like, "Fucking hell, you look good," and then when I told them I was natural as well, they'd be like, "Oh," and then they just want to work with me.
Yeah. That's the
But
thing with
doing that every
jump.
day, yeah, compounding that every day over like, you know, a 12-week summer period, like that got me loads of clients that.
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's really good. And then so what did you do? Were you training at Pure Gym or were you still training at Body whilst you were at Pure sort of thing?
Used to train at Body FX still.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool.
I
So
couldn't
that
train at Pure Gym. Man, I couldn't do it.
yeah, I can't imagine you going to a Pure Gym after you've been there.
I did the odd session, like if I was super busy, but I've always been like in this mentality where like I need like, cause I don't know if you've seen Body Effects, but like it's rusty, it's cold, it's grim, like
Yeah.
it's rough. But I was conditioned to train somewhere like that. So when I was somewhere new and I had like rubber weights that didn't make any noise and like a clean bench and like people just texting and I was like, it just didn't feel at home at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to have comfort going into a gym and just being surrounded by like sweaty blokes and just
Yeah,
screaming.
man. But it is though, it is. I think when you've been in
Yeah.
that,
It's
like
a
when
home comfort.
yeah, when you've also done that as well, like especially when you kind of take training to the point that you do as well, like it's kind of like real training. It's like Rocky, isn't it? When you watch the movies and he's
Mm.
training in the fucking snow and doing all that sort of shit, and then the other guy, the Russian guys in the
So
fucking
sometimes
training
it was like
facilities.
that in the winter. Fuck me.
Yeah, I
Wow.
bet.
Because there's skylights in Body FX and obviously single glazed windows. When it was snowing outside, the snow used to come through a smashed glass window. So
Yeah,
when it used to snow outside, it used to snow on the dumbbell rack.
that's sick.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah,
Is
I've
it
had some fucking rough times in there in the winter.
that's is it still the same owners and stuff that since day one?
Yeah, Ragga, yeah,
That's
same
cool.
owner.
That's cool. That is really cool. Fucking hell, man.
Well, something I didn't mention earlier was like I started getting trained by an old fella in the gym called Dave Langley. I suppose you could say that was like my first personal trainer, really. But he used to work. He's basically just some old fella. He's basically like Mr. Miyagi. Um,
Yeah.
but he used to work behind the bar. And like in his free time, because you know when you're an older guy, like you've not really got like you could say retired. It was just sort of keeping him busy.
Yeah.
He used to train like a handful of lads after his shift. Like young lads, just trying to like get them up and going and teach them the basics and stuff.
Yeah, fuck yeah,
And
that's
he,
cool.
he started training me, so that's where I learned to train hard through him. Because he just used to say to me like, I think that's where I got my mentality from as well. Because he was very upfront, and like
Yeah.
he just say it out. Like I'd be sat at the bar, and like probably one of the first things he said to me was like, "Look at you, you fat little bastard. That you need to learn how to train hard and get a roast down your neck. You do." Uh, and then he said, "You can train with me next week." And then I trained with him. I just started training with him about 3 times a week, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something, for free as well.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
For free.
Man, that's do you know what? It's good. I think it's man, I wish times were like that. Eh? It'd be
That's
so
the,
good.
they were the best days of training ever. Because like even on a Sunday, the gym used to close at 2 o'clock, and we used to have a lock-in, and he'd had like 10 lads, just young lads who just had like he kept the lads who had like a passion for bodybuilding and training.
Yeah.
He'd be like, right, lock in, 10 o'clock, we're all on legs, and we just lock the door, crank the music up like well louder than Ragga used to allow. The speakers were gonna blow up, and we just bang training. It was class. There's
Oh,
actually a video on YouTube of me training somewhere, but it's quite hard to find.
so yeah. Yeah, if you find the link, send it to me. That'd be sick.
I'll send it over because Dave's in it as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
Damn, man, that's epic. And then what did you do from Pure? So you kind of you did your 2 years there, and where did you go from there?
Yeah. So I did, it ended quite sour to be honest, because I was basically, so the structure in Pure Gym was you do 3 shifts
Five
to
hours,
pay,
do your 15
yeah,
hours.
three
Yeah.
5-hour shifts that I was doing. So I was doing a Monday morning, a Tuesday morning, and a Thursday evening.
Okay.
And I hated the Monday morning because I'd have to do spin at 6 in the morning, and it was always like old women, and
Yeah.
I couldn't enjoy my Sunday night because I was just in bed thinking, oh, fuck's sake, and that
Yeah.
started grating on me. But anyway, I got to the point where I was ready. I was fully booked. That I couldn't take any more clients on. So I dropped one shift. So I dropped my Tuesday. So you should do a Monday morning and a Thursday evening because that's all I could get.
Yeah.
So I had to pay like 175 a month rent. And then I was like, right, I'm going to move to full rent. And I found a loophole because there was 2 Pure Gyms in Warrington, and the rent in one of the Pure Gyms was, I think it was 550 a month, which is
Yeah.
expensive. And there was a Pure Gym down the road, exact same gym, just a mile down the road, called
Yeah.
Warrington North. And the rent there was 400. It was cheaper.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? So I went down to Warrington North Pure Gym, and I said to the manager, I was like, look, I want to move to this gym on full rent. I was like, I'll bring all of my clients, I'll bring all the members, no problem. And she said no. She was like, nah, no. And I was just in the office with this like manager and manager. I was like, this, it was dead childish.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
like,
gonna
I
give
was
you
like,
money and bring more
I
members to
said, I know, I said, I'm going to bring all of my members, I'm going to bring money, and it's just going to be a straight transaction. And you saying no. And I realized he was saying no because I think it was like a bit of jealousy because she didn't like that I'd started at Pure Gym and got full and had all these clients and was ready to pay rent just like that. Because
Yeah.
one of the other guys I know, Tom was just like, yeah, like she doesn't really like you. And I just thought, you know what? And I went in the office a few days later and I was just like, you know what? I fucking quit. I said, I'm just going to take all my clients with me. And I took about 70% of my clients to Body FX,
Yeah.
the bodybuilding gym. And the other 30% were like people who just don't sort of fit in there. So I had to get rid of
Yeah.
them. Um, And then I just started PTing and body FX, which was like a blessing because all of my clients, my hardcore clients stayed, and then I took more hardcore clients on, and I got full PTing and body FX then.
I
And
bet the
obviously the
rent
rent
was fucking way cheaper, or not
wasn't
at all.
paying rent.
There you go.
If they, I said to Ragga, the owner, I said to him, look, I want to start PTing him here. Like, what do you want any rent? And he said, look, he said, as long as you bring members in here who are paying memberships, buying supplements, buying drinks, and supporting me, he's like, you don't need to pay no rent. Because he said, all I see is more members, more money. So yeah,
Yes, that's true though. That's how it's
that's what it
like.
should be like, yeah. Because I
Yeah,
brought a lot of people over, and I was also like keeping the gym in the know because I
yeah,
was posting on my social media. I was putting, body effects all over the place, bringing clients in, like
mate, you still do to this day.
exactly, yeah, yeah. But like a lot of people then like the problem was because it had such a reputation that it did. A lot of people were scared to go,
Yeah,
and then I was like, once I got them in and like welcomed them to everyone, they realized like how much of like a welcoming place it is.
yeah,
There was a time like I got like loads. It's still busy now. It's still busy now. But I had a lot of clients in there, and
yeah.
then that's why I got full there.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I remember it was the same. It was literally the same because I think we must have been at Pure Gym very similar time periods because there was two Pure Gyms in the same town, literally up the hill from each other. One was the bottom of the hill,
Yeah,
one was the top of the hill. So same sort of thing. The bottom of the hill was in a nicer quote unquote area, and I think
yeah,
that was 550 or 600. And then our gym was again 450 or 500 or something like that.
yeah. They must do it on the area, mustn't they?
Yeah, it was something like that, or it's like a postcode, I think in the UK sometimes,
Mm.
which seemed to be the thing. But yeah, exactly the same, man. But then I went to London and mate, my gym rent was 1,200 a month
Was it
then.
really?
Fuck yeah,
A,
man.
a Pure Gym?
Nah, so Pure Gyms, I wish I went. So I went to London because I was kind of sick of like, I was like, I did my first kind of like junior physique kind of show then, and no one else was really training it. Like, no one trained,
Yeah,
was trained and things like that. And I was just like, I just wanted to be in a bigger pond sort of thing. So I was like, fuck it, let me just go to London. Like everyone, London's the place, right?
yeah. That's where everyone went, wasn't it? That's the first sort of place.
Yeah, so I went there. The first year was brutal. But yeah, I should have just gone to a pure gym because like, mate, you could have the rent was almost no different to an extent. It was like 600 or 700 in like you could be in like proper like Waterloo for that price.
Mm.
So you're like, fuck, you're charging double the amount for clients anyway because you're in that
Yeah,
area. But yeah, I went to a gym box. It was great. I learned so much, and that's when the business stuff really kicked off. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I'm a business, and I'm not just a person, sort of thing. And that's when
Mm.
that 2 years started to tick the online side of things a lot more, and yeah, just learn how to run a business. There was 25 or 30 trainers in our gym, so it was
That's a
like
lot of competition.
yeah, it was a lot. So you had to be like, it was kind of like fuck, you had to survive sort of thing. So it was good. It was
Yeah, I can imagine.
that was I guess the London attitude to anything sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, very similar situation, really. That's
I
it.
think a lot of it's very similar for everyone, isn't it? And like that, I suppose that position is like what sort of makes or breaks someone as a trainer. Or I've noticed a lot of people get to that position and then just stay comfortable there.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of trainers that I used to work with at Pure Gym who are still at Pure Gym doing the same. So
Yeah,
there's
same.
just that's just what they want to do. But I got not bored, but I just knew there was more.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I don't know what it was. I didn't know there was more, but I kind of knew there was. It was a weird kind of thing. I was like, I know there's more out there, but I don't know what more is.
But
So,
I started because when I transitioned from PT to coaching, because I was fully booked PTing and people were still coming to me for like um like diets, nutrition, like training
yeah.
stuff, and I was full. And I got to the point where I was like, look, like I can help you with your diet. And I stopped and thought, how am I going to do this? So I started coaching people face to face. So I'd meet them for a check-in in the gym.
Yeah,
So I'd
that's
do my
cool.
PT. Do you know what? It was the best thing I ever did because that taught me to coach like properly.
Yeah.
So I'd meet someone face to face. I'd do the initial photos. I'd take them in the changing room, do the photos, and then I'd do the consultation, ask them what they want to do, kind of thing. Very basic back then. Just like it was like, what's the goal, and then I knew what to do. And then I'd actually give them. a printed out spreadsheet so they could do the weigh-ins on a piece of
Oh,
paper.
fuck. Yeah.
So they on the Monday they'd go follow the nutrition, the training, they'd come back, bring me the piece of paper so I could see the weigh-ins. And then I'd go and look at them in the changing room and I'd take the photos myself and actually look at the physique myself, if
Yeah.
it's a lot better, look for improvements. But that's what I started doing. So I'd do like my PTs, and at the end of the day, I'd have like 5 client check-ins to do in the space of an hour. So a client would meet me, I'd do the check-in, and that's how I'd finish my day. And then it got to the point where I was getting more coaching inquiries and I was getting better results from coaching.
Yeah.
I was getting well better results. And then it got to a point where I was like, hang on, like this is like working pretty well here. So I dropped one of my PT days on a Friday, I think it was. And I
Yeah.
just started filling Friday with in-person check-ins. So I'd be in the gym all day doing check-ins, like, but it was good because I was in Body FX. I could do my check-ins and then I could dip into the gym, see clients, check
Yeah.
on the training, do a little bit of form. I was just floating around the gym. I was on the gym floor all day.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I was like, right, I'm just going to try and do this full time, I think. So I
Yeah.
started slow. Whenever a client dropped off or the client was done on PT, I just didn't replace them. So that took about a year. So when a client dropped off, I just wouldn't replace them. So PT slowly tapered off and then coach started getting full. But then
Yeah.
I got to a point where coaching was full and I was meeting them all the time in the gym. And I was like, hang on, like, why am I doing this in person when I can do this online? But online coaching was just like sort of happening. So
Yeah.
there was no mentors, there was no one to speak to about it. It was just like the only people coaching were people like Neil Hill and
Yeah.
people like
Like
that.
old school. Yeah. Yeah. Real.
Yeah, because
People
you,
have been
you
doing
could
it
see it
10
was
years before that. Yeah.
you could see it was going on, but you were like, what are they doing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so I just started doing online check-ins and I basically just started building. I built a spreadsheet, I built a nutrition plan, I built a training program on Excel, and I sort of made this like coaching pack in like like a coaching pack template in Excel,
Yeah.
and then started using that. And then when a client come in, I'd say to them, look, like this is going to be our last in-person check-in. We're going to do the next one online. This is how we're going to do it. You're going to take your photos. You're going to send it across to me. It's going to be in. I was doing Dropbox at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
your files will be in Dropbox, and then that started working. And then it just slowly transitioned online. Then, but it wasn't smooth. Do you know what I mean? There was lots of things to iron out.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. But I
Like
think we're still doing that today, aren't we?
I think yeah, yeah. I think the hardest thing moving from in person to online was actually getting someone to do all of the stuff that I was doing efficiently. Because I used to take
Yeah.
photos, log the weigh-ins. I had to educate the people on how to actually edit a spreadsheet, how to upload the photos, where to upload them, when to check
Yeah.
in. It was quite hard to because obviously then I didn't have a welcome pack, I didn't have tutorials. It was just
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
online now. This is what we're going to do. So there was a frustrating teething period there where like sometimes no one would check in, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck! Like, how do people do this?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
Man, it's good. It's kind of interesting. You kind of did. It's weird. You kind of did online without even like you did in a sense online coaching without even know that you did it. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's a weird.
I think that's if I wouldn't have done it. I think a lot of people now, like a lot of coaches, struggle to move, especially right now, like struggle to move online because it's just so hard. But because I had like one step ahead doing it in person, that
I
was like a
yeah.
game changer for me. That
I totally agree, man. Like don't get me wrong. I think some people can go straight online and there's nothing wrong with it at all. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
Yeah,
90%, I think you need to be face to face. And I think
yeah.
you need to know what it feels like to get up for 5 a.m. clients. You have to be up at fucking half
You
three.
need that. I think obviously anyone can become an online coach and like do that, and a lot of people are successful at it. But if I wouldn't have had that in person personal connection and
I
seeing
would,
the actual results, and when you have a conversation with someone, you can tell what they're feeling, like what
yeah,
they're up to, and that's what helped me a lot then. Because a lot of my coaching were in person. A lot of it was like problem solving, like social events, like they've
that's
been playing,
literally
like how educating. Someone had asked me about why I would tweak the diet in front of them on my laptop. So they'd be like,
yeah,
right, you've dropped a pound this week, or you've not dropped the pound. So I go in and tweak the diet, and they'd be like, so what are you doing? And I'd be like, well, I'm dropping your carbs here, and I'm moving it like pre and post, and I'm going to increase cardio because, and then they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
And it
it.
just,
You're walking, you're literally doing the online process because you're doing it, you're walking it, you're explaining why you're making those changes in order to
mm,
progress forward. And like again, you're problem solving with like, oh shit, like you've been stressed this week and things like that because you're not organizing your day and things like that. Like all these little things. Like you're
yeah.
literally that's the thing. And also I think the biggest thing is that literally looking at someone and saying that is way harder than it is to fucking say it virtually or via text sort of thing.
Well,
It,
I used to like, I had a good reputation in the gym of being like very upfront and honest. Like I used to be ruthless, but that's what people loved. Like
yeah,
I'd sit down with someone at a consultation and I'd be like, so they'd be like, so what do you think? Kind of thing. I'd be like, oh, you're fat as fuck. Like it's bad. But in like a not like
it,
a
not
not
like
an
a dick
insulting
way.
way. In the
Yeah,
way it's just like you're fat as fuck, but I'm gonna help you sort of get out of it. And
yeah,
if someone turned up to a face-to-face check-in and he'd not stuck to the diet, I'd be like, wait, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah. But
what
that's
is
the
going
thing.
on?
But that's also what the problem is. There's only so much like I think coaching now gets it's sugar coating. It's like, don't worry, you can do this, but then you do need to kind of sort your stuff out. I'm like, no, like you fucking need to do
Yeah,
this. Like
yeah.
you're on this call with me for a reason. Like you clearly want to change. Like otherwise you wouldn't have done this. You wouldn't have filled in a form. You wouldn't have sent me DMs, whatever it is. Like you clearly want this. So then it's dissecting like sometimes like fucking like not even the why, but just like, do you not want better for yourself? Like sometimes like
Mm,
and then just putting it straight up. I'm like, you do need to eat this, you do need to do this. Because again, like you could say it if someone's like, because you are overweight, you are unhealthy. Like it's red
yeah,
flags. Like some and people do, that's what they need that harsh love, and people respect that as well.
people do. Like, that's one thing I'll always be like with clients. I'll always tell them straight up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's also it's kind of like some and kind of when you know someone, you can tell it this is again the benefit of doing it face to face for so long. You know when you can push it and you know when you can't push it with someone. So
There is
like,
a line, but
yeah,
in situations like that, I'll if there's someone where I think they might be like a little bit sensitive, I'll say to them first, like, look, like I want to tell you something and I want to be upfront, but it's only because I want the best. And
that's it.
then something like, so when they and they went like, okay, and I'll be like, look, like you're just not pulling your weight kind of thing. So I will sometimes I will word things like I won't just be like if someone's like really sensitive and like, I won't be like, oh, you've you shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're
Yeah.
just gonna be like, what a shit coach that is. I was gonna be like, look, listen, like I want to tell you something right now, and no one's probably ever spoke to you like this before, but I'm only saying it because I want the best, for you long term. And then I'll tell them straight up then. And then 99% of the time, 100% of the time, they're like, whoa, like no one's ever
Yeah,
spoke to me like that.
exactly.
Even like it's always a man who's older than me.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
because I'm younger than them
Yeah.
and telling
Their
them, they're
ego.
like,
Yeah.
they can't get their head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's what they need. It's what they need.
It is as well. It's what you say, it's how you word it and how you say it, sort of thing. Vice versa, how you approach a female and you kind of
Yeah,
when
I'll
you
never go in with like like an insult, but I'll
no,
just be
of
like,
course.
I'll go in very professional.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, I know you would. Things like that. I think it's just that's the thing that's again, this stems back all the way back through from when you had to do or like fucking you butlering, all this sort of stuff. You learn how to approach the and you deal with people. That's the thing. You've
Yeah.
spent years and years understanding and learning how people stand, how they look, their body language, and things like that. So, like when it comes to coaching now, you're like it's second nature to you now, and you can tell that over a phone
Mhm.
call because you know how they're sat. You can see if they're pulling their arms close or whatever it is. So that's the thing. I just sometimes that I think just with like online coaching now, I'm like, oh, you haven't done the reps, like face to face coaching.
Yeah.
If you've been good
Yeah.
face to face, you haven't done the reps. Like doing fucking 8 hours plus of PT a day, then you got to do your own training on top of that. Then you're on prep, like all this sort of stuff. Like,
That's why when someone says to me they've not got time, I'm just like, you have.
You have, yeah.
Because people see like they probably see us now, you know, like living in Dubai, like laptop life, and they think, oh, it's all right for him to say that. But they don't realize that there was a time where I was doing the 12 hours, the shift of,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? A lot of clients don't realize that. When
No.
I was on the motorway, I'd do a 12-hour shift with an hour travel time to and from work, and I'd usually run over on shift or get stuck in traffic. And I'd still do cardio, I'd still train, I'd still prep my meals because it was important to me.
Yeah.
So when someone says they've not got time, it's like, listen,
Yeah. That's the
there's
thing.
all there's if you wanna do it, yeah, you find a way.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like you say, like people are always just going to look at you now and never, they're just going to judge on what they see now, what's in front of them, instead of actually taking consideration. Like, oh, like, it's like when you see someone jacked, like someone fucking massive and they look great. Everyone just goes,
Yeah.
ah, gear. And I'm like, no, like they probably
No,
spent
no, the 10 years of
10 years of eating chicken and rice 6 meals a day. Like that's what does it, sort of thing, and sleeping. And like, that's the thing.
mm,
People just go top of iceberg all the time and don't see all the other stuff below it. It's nothing wrong with it, but it's just that's just reality. People just jump into that conclusion. So
it's true,
very
man.
much fun. But no, it's cool. But then I won't keep you too much longer at all. But obviously from then, so you kind of transition your business and things like that. This is obviously pre-COVID, right? Or I've said
Yeah,
it now.
this was
But yeah.
pre-COVID, yeah.
Yeah, demonetized now. Same as the C word. Fucked.
Well, COVID's oh shit, yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Shit. Um oh fucked it.
It's all right. I said it first. It's fine.
Well, that's what actually was like the nail in the coffin for moving me fully online. Because I had a few PT clients left, and then when we went to lockdown, I just moved the remaining amount online.
Hmm.
And then when we come out of lockdown, I was just fully online then. I was just everyone was like, "Are you going to start PTing again?" I was like, "No."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when I went fully online then.
Yeah. Because that was in the April, wasn't it? Yeah. I think we all did that. I had that.
I think a lot of people did that, yeah. Because I started like really refining the way I was doing it because
Yeah.
I was locked in. There was nothing else to do.
Fuck all else
So I
to
was
do.
like, right, this is the perfect time to rebuild my sheets, come up with a new like coaching platform, like just iron everything out. And when I come out the back end of COVID, it was like, right, back in business, but I'm not PT and I'm coaching. And then everything was sort of in place, ready to just onboard people.
Yeah.
And that's when I started getting busy then. That's when I went Marbella
When did you do that? Is
because we came out with the first.
that when you drove there?
No. This was I went to Marbella like a good few years ago, but well before I drove there. That's why I went back because I liked it so much. So I did. We came out of the first lockdown.
Yeah.
I
Was
got
that the
busy
summer, wasn't it?
online.
The summer. Yeah.
Yeah, but then when it started getting cold again, we went into a second one, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. We did that month, right? In November.
Yeah. So, yeah, November. So I seen on the news that they were talking about like a potential second lockdown coming, and I was living in my house on my own, and I was like, the last lockdown was because of another story, but I'd like split up with my ex and stuff. So I was like, you know, I was on my own, isolated and locked down, just split up with my girlfriend, and they were talking about another lockdown. And
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, where is there no lockdown? And it was Marbella was open, Spain was open.
Was this when
So I
we
was
went
like,
into it after Christmas in that January one, right? And then they did like a 16-week one or 18, a long one.
yeah, but I booked a flight to Spain.
Okay, yeah.
And when I got to Spain, they'd locked the UK airport, so I'd escaped.
Yeah, mate, we did exactly the same thing. I just went to Dubai
Yeah.
in January.
You did. I just went to Marbella because it was cheaper, and it was like I found a
Yeah,
decent and places were cheap because no one was going. So I had an
yeah,
apartment in Port of Banús
yeah.
for £700 a month. Like
Fuck.
I know, right in the center of Port of Banús, £700 a month. So I was like, fuck
Yeah,
it. Went
yeah.
there, got a membership at M13 gym, and I was just training, coaching, and just like perfecting coach. It was ideal.
Do you know what? It was, yeah, I did. It was funny. I got the place on the marina in that January as well. And it was that studio. And I got it for 67, man. For 1,000.
67. Did ya?
Yeah, for that
On the
year.
marina, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking
No
score.
way, yeah.
It
That's crazy, that
was
for a
so
year, isn't
good.
it?
think it was 67. Yeah, it was something like that. 67 or 70 or something like that. Yeah, it was gold.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that was like one of the best things that did that because I seen everyone at home was in lockdown and I was like free training in like Dorian Yates's gym.
You must have went literally the same time as me because it was I'm pretty sure like I got the flight on New Year's night, so 31st of December, and then
I think
Monday.
mine was like the 20, I think it was after Christmas, so
Yeah.
maybe like the 26th, 7th, like the 28th or something it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I went
Yeah,
on.
because on the news, I remember they were saying like January 1st, it's going to be
Yeah.
locked down. So I think they allowed for like some sort of New Year's Eve events, didn't they? For a little bit of,
Yeah.
they were like, we're not going to lock down for Christmas. We're not going to do New Year's Eve, but January 1st, it's
That's
lockdown.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what happened. So I
Yeah.
was like, right, I'm off.
Yeah. No, we did the same exact same thing. Perfect.
Yeah, that was really good for me. Because as well, because I just split up with my ex-girlfriend as well, and I was in my
Yeah.
house on
That's
my own. It was good
what
for
you
me to
need.
go to Marbella and be like isolated and just like focus on myself because it just made me like learn to sort of be on my own and focus business and that. Like I left Marbella like a different person. I felt great.
Yeah. 100%. Did you spend the whole time there? So that whole almost half a year, almost really, technically, or first
No,
quarter,
I did three. I did three.
three
How long
months?
did I do that? About 12 weeks. Yeah, I did about 12 weeks.
Yeah, sick. And then when lockdown lifted, you went back home or back to
Yeah, I went back home.
yeah, sick. Fuck, that's awesome, man. When did you go to Dubai then? It must have been like
Um,
the end of that year, right? Or just going into that.
well, it was the following year because I met a guy in Marbella who a long story short, I found a YouTube video. It's funny this. I found a YouTube video of a day in the life of Marbella, and it was this lad called Joe. It was just like this little scally, and he's like, "Yeah, I've moved from Marbella,"
Is,
and I seen
is,
it.
is this
Do you know
not
him?
not the Joe that does real estate now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, and he moved there with his missus,
yes,
right?
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I met
Texas.
Joe. Well, I seen Joe on YouTube. But before I went to Marbella, I seen Joe on YouTube, and I messaged him on Instagram and said, "Hey, I've just seen you did a video on moving to Marbella. Are you free for a Zoom? I've got some questions about coming over." And we jumped on a Zoom, and I found out that he's from Warrington, which is like
Yeah.
15 minutes away from where I live. Um, so he picked me up from the airport when I got to Marbella, and we ended up being like dead good mates, and like because we were in lockdown and it was a bit quiet there. We spent quite a lot of time together in Marbella, and we became dead good friends. And then I come back to the UK, and I was just speaking to Joe online, and Joe was like, "Look, I'm thinking about going to Dubai," because Joe was an online coach at the time.
He was because I messaged him years ago because he used to train at a
Yeah,
Buzz gym.
yeah,
And because there was Buzz Gym in my local town where I was PTing in Reading.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. Small world.
That's small world, yeah. But he was like, I'm gonna no, he just left PT coaching and started videography. That was what he was doing.
And then he went to LA, right? He went to America for a bit.
No, this was later on.
Oh, okay.
So I was speaking to my friend Oscar, who was already in Dubai, and I was speaking to Joe, and Oscar was saying, I need to find a new apartment in Dubai. Do you want to get a place? Do you know anyone else? And I was like, I know Joe. So we ended up getting on a Zoom like this, and we were like, right, yeah, let's find an apartment. Oscar was already in Dubai, and he's like, I'll find an apartment. You and Joe sort of give me the thumbs up, and then if it's good, we'll get it. And I was like, sound. And then Oscar found an apartment in Tiger Tower on
Oh
the
yeah.
arena, and we just paid for 3 months up front on that. And then what happened is I went back to Marbella, stayed with Joe for a week in his apartment, and then we flew from Marbella to Dubai, and then we
Sick.
that was my first like 3 months in Dubai. We had that apartment in Tiger Town, and we all shared it, and we were all just sort of finding our feet. Like
Yeah.
Oscar was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. Joe was trying to get some videography work, and I was just trying to figure. That was when my coaching actually dropped off because I don't know, business just started to decline and clients were dropping off, and I didn't know how to get new clients. Then I started working with Mark Coles, and then that's when things went the other way, and like the Dubai sort of phase booted off from there. Then,
Sick,
but
man.
that
Hey.
was not last October, October the year before, so 2022,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, about that. I only know
think.
that now because we had to phone for our business stuff
It was
yesterday.
221, sorry. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
because I had to just renew the business again this year, and I didn't know this. This one caught me off guard. So when you do the business straight away, you got given a visa with that. So a visa
Yeah.
was included for the first 2 years or first 3 years. Now the visa's not included.
Really?
Yeah, so
I
obviously it
mean,
was like, yeah.
Virtue Zone, I'll tell you off the podcast, it's a long story, but like Virtue Zone, like, don't work with Virtue Zone.
Oh, hang on, I've just lost my there you go. Let me get it all back. It's 8 o'clock, so my computer's just gone on to screw you mode. There you go. That's it. Cool. Nah, yeah. So I was just like, oh, that sucks. But it's actually not too bad. It's not too bad kind of pricing
Like,
structure.
there's a lot of, for anyone watching this who's thinking about like setting a business up in Dubai, there is a lot of hidden things they don't tell you, isn't there?
Yeah, you have to do you know what? To be fair, from day one that I remember hearing horror stories and my process has been very, very smooth. So I am actually very happy with everything. But yeah, there is like anywhere, man. I think it's like anywhere that seems very, very good to be true. There's obviously stuff that goes on like
Yeah,
this
it's
school lake.
very true.
It's like little things, man. It's like little things. It's like I remember I wanted to go change my address because I was moving and there was like had to go into a bank. Obviously, going to a bank there was just fucking pick a ticket and wait sort of thing.
Yeah, I've done it.
And
I've
I,
done it.
oh, and I was just there for so long. And then it was just weird. You had to like write the address down on this document, then you had to photocopy it. Then I was like, this is so weird. I'm like, why can't you just do this online? Turns out they said, yeah, you can do this online. And I was just like, what? It's just like there's the community. I think because everything's still being built, like
Yeah.
the process is just they're so far
The
ahead.
country is very far ahead like that, but little tedious things like that are just not in place.
Yeah. It's just like the country's moving so fast and it's just the little things that are like, and then everything's trying to catch up with it, sort of thing. It's even like
Yeah, I
checkbooks,
agree.
man. It's like when you write checks, you're like, do you come on, really? Are we still doing checkbooks? Like,
I've never used a checkbook in my life.
I felt so awkward, man. Like when I got that place in that COVID time period, I had to go in and write the checks for the year. And I was like, honestly, I've never wrote a check in my life. Can you write the checks? Like, and give it to the estate agent person
I
that's gonna
wouldn't know how to write a check now, to be honest.
fuck, man. It's like when you have to write 67,000 down in numbers. I'm like, you're asking a dyslexic to do that. I don't know how to write that down. Like, oh, it's horrible. So, but no, it's good. No, it's crazy, man. Last little bit I'll touch on before I love you and leave you, man, because I know you're busy and stuff like that. You've had a very successful competitive season or last season? Yeah, we're in the
Mm,
last season, man. Um, so obviously you're in Dubai and things like that, and then you were there for a bit. You were there the whole pretty much time, and then you started prep, right? Pretty much, or you went to Marbella back there for
uh,
the summertime, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I did my Bay summer, come
yeah,
back to Dubai for the like Octoberish, yeah, and then stayed in Dubai then. So I was in Marbella like through the summer for summer. I did 90 days there.
yeah, and then you came back and you pretty much did a whole year on prep almost, didn't you? To be honest.
I started working with Callum end of January, and then I started prep after 3 months of like pushing weight up with him. So basically spent that whole year. I was pretty much on prep as soon as I started working with Cal because I just flicked the switch in my head. Even though I was in off season, I was still like in that mentality.
Yeah,
So even though I wasn't on prep, I was still like meal routine, regimen, everything was like as soon as I started working with Cal, got my plan through. I was like, right, I'm on this.
yeah. Was that the first? Is that the first? Not the first. I guess that's not. Was that the first coach you've had, or have you because you coach
Yeah.
yourself? Yeah, I thought so.
I always prep myself and prep myself for more. I always did all my own preps. I always prep my coach myself because I never needed a coach.
Yeah,
I'd always got in shape. I'd always got shredded. I won my last show, got shredded. And then for the last one, I was like, right, like I'm 30 now. I've competed before. Like Cal's obviously a very successful coach. Like he's obviously got something to offer. I was like, if I'm gonna go all in on this, if I'm gonna be in Dubai in the best gym in the world, I've got good people around me. I might as well put the icing on the cake and go with one of the best coaches in the country. So that was my decision. I thought this it can only be a positive.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it fucking worked. So you had a
Fucking
very,
work. It works, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I love working with Cal.
yeah, because you're still working with Cal, aren't you now?
Still working with Cal now.
Yeah, sick. So obviously, if people don't know, you did very, very well. You actually did like a show that you didn't plan on doing. You actually did a show in the Middle East, right? That was a bit kind of
Yeah,
last minute.
the WNBF
Yeah, and
UAE
then you placed first in that, right?
did first in that one, yeah.
Yeah, and then you flew to the UK. And how many shows did you do? I thought you did a few more than I thought you were gonna do, to be honest.
I had three lined up, but I only did two. So
Okay.
I did the UKDFB. What did I do? No, sorry, I did three.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done four shows this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking hell. So I did
Pretty sure you placed them as well, and you probably just forgot
yeah, I
your.
did the UKDFB qualifier. Um the classic physique and men's well, I did classic physique and then I walked on stage and then the judge grabbed me backstage and said you're too big for classic, come back and do bodybuilding. So I got third in classic and then went back on an hour later and did men's bodybuilding and got second in that.
Hmm.
So so I did both. It was really random. And then I did the UK DFB final.
Yeah.
Got did I get fourth in that? I think I got fourth in that.
Probably got
Got
probably got the medals. I
I've got a
was
trophy here
gonna say you got the
somewhere.
medals and trophies probably right next to you.
UKDFBA Heart of England, third place. Yeah, I think I got fourth.
Okay.
Uh, and then I did the Two Bros,
Oh, that's
uh,
yeah.
Two Bros Naturals, and then won that, and then that was me done then.
Yeah, sick. Fuck, that's a good season. How did you feel from the back of it and things like that? Because we kind of all spoke, but we kind of didn't, I guess. Like, how did you feel because of off the back of it and things like that? Because you were kind of
Do you
like
know
you were
what?
satisfied, but you were like you enjoy you
Yeah,
from day one, man. So like you say, since 15, you like just pulling shit off the ground, doing those fucking deadlifts. That you've enjoyed the
mm.
training and the suffering aspect more than just getting on stage. That's what it's.
I
That's kind
think one thing I've realized, I think it's like me maturing a lot as well. Like being 100, I think we're like with bodybuilding stuff, sometimes you got to have like an honest conversation with yourself. And I think a lot of people put that off. Like what happened was I walked off stage on Two Bros, and that was my last show. And like I just didn't have like any sort of feeling of fulfillment at all. I was just more of a relief. I was like, is that it? And
yeah,
I was in this like weird headspace because I'd put so much effort in over the year. And like
yeah.
I was literally on stage, quarter turns, routine, off. It was like so quick. And I was like, I didn't get anything from it. I was in the car on the way home and I was like, why don't I like feel anything? I've just won.
Mm,
I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it honestly that baffled my head for probably like the next few months. Like I've only just probably just like sort of figured that the last few months I've sort of figured out like why I felt that way. And I've just sort of realized that like it's not the competing that I love. Yeah, I enjoy the process.
mm,
I enjoy the dieting, the discipline, but being on stage and competing, it's not actually what I love. Like I love the training.
yeah.
Like looking back and reflecting, like that's what I love. I love training hard. I love being fueled up. Like that set of deadlifts, that deadlift video. I love
Yeah,
like
exactly.
being in a mixed. That's what I love. Like I didn't really get any fulfillment. So I had to have like an honest conversation with myself. I was like, right. And like the lads who beat me in the UK DFB final, they were like unbelievable shape. And there was a moment as well where I was backstage and I was looking and I was just thinking like genetically, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
never ever gonna beat them guys. I was just I know it's like who turns up on the day and like maybe in the future I could potentially win and stuff, but I was like, do I really want to sacrifice like any more of my life to put all of that effort in to try and win again to
And
sort
also,
of feel the same? Do you know what I
yeah, and
mean?
also now people are 24 looking like absolute freaks. Do you know what I mean? Even as
That's
natural,
what I
you
mean.
know what I
Because
mean?
a lot of as a natural bodybuilder, the sacrifice to reward ratio, it's not worth it for me right now. Because I
Yeah.
put my life on hold for a year. I put my life on hold. I put all social events on hold. I buried myself. I became like a little bit like socially awkward because I was so fucking like
Yeah.
committed. And the end of the day, there's no money return for natural bodybuilding.
Ah,
You know,
no,
there's no business return. I'm not like demonizing it because it's like it's been amazing for me, but I'm just personally at a point now where I don't think I'm gonna be. I'm at a crossroads, right? I can either keep competing naturally and keep
Yeah.
sacrificing my life and sacrificing business and the growth that I could have, or I can go down the assisted route, which I don't want to go down that because
Yeah.
I'm not willing to take the drugs that I would have to take to get to the level I would have
That
to
you
be
know
at.
what it takes in a sense. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know what it takes and I know what I would have to do to get my physique to a competitive level,
Yeah.
and I'm just not willing to do it.
Nah. It was
I
funny
don't
because
want to.
I had a podcast yesterday with George Osborne yesterday.
Oh
Um
yeah, yeah,
and he said the same thing, man. He said exactly the same thing. It was just like it's just there's a moment in time where I value more from like pretty much he was like saying I value my relationship with my partner. I
yeah,
value these different things in life than sometimes like also like we had the conversation like I think Callum released the facts on it actually and I was baffled by it. I've fucking told everyone.
The IFBB thing.
Isn't it 150,000 NPC competitors or something like that?
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was 0.9 or something like that, less than
yeah,
1% that turn pro.
yeah.
And then even when you turn pro, you're here. Like you're the bottom again. Like
That's what I mean.
that's what's and like it's
The
insane.
thought that was going through my head was when I stepped off stage the last time, yeah, and I didn't feel any sort of fulfillment, and my body was like battered.
Mm,
I thought if I felt like that again after 2 or 3 more years of pushing for this progress, and I stepped off stage and felt like that again with drugs in the mix and my health compromised, I don't think it would put me in a mentally good space. I wouldn't feel good.
no.
If I stepped off stage and felt like that and I had to taper off the drugs, get my hormones back in spot, and like go through that period
Yeah.
with that mental state, it wouldn't be good for myself, business, relationships. Like I would just mentally, it just wouldn't be good for me. And I just thought like I need to make a decision now whether I go all in on it and potentially go down that route,
Yeah.
or I go the way I'm going now, where I feel amazing now.
Yeah. That's it. And that's the thing as well. Like I think obviously I don't I only talk to people that I like. So so it doesn't really help. But like obviously I speak to you and I speak to like-minded individuals and that's how everyone thinks. They think about that longer term in a sense
Mm,
result and things like that. But I think what obviously coaches will watch this or just anyone, I think just think about the longer term outcome on certain things. Like even like getting in
yeah.
shape and even just doing little things, just think like sacrifice a meal out once. It's not going to kill you for a longer term better result and things like that. But
Mm.
there's a point like saying like, yeah, don't follow this diet because it's going to stop you having all these social events. You don't have to do that. Very much the similar conversation as what we're
I
having. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to get to a position where I hate bodybuilding because it's done negative things for me.
yeah,
Because I love it. I love bodybuilding. I love training hard. I don't want to get to a position where I start hating it because like, oh, it's done this to my health. You know, I didn't win. It's made people stop speaking to me. I don't want to get to that position, and I could sort of see the projection of that, and I was like, I don't want to do that
yeah,
because the happiest times and like the most positive times in my life is like where I'm in good shape, I'm training hard, I've got a good relationship with food, I can, you know, business is good, like everything's sort of ticking over. Training for me like complements my lifestyle, keeps me disciplined, keeps me in routine, keeps me energized, switched on, focused.
yeah.
Like, it's a positive. I don't want to turn it into a negative because if I've not got bodybuilding, I've not got training, and I've not got my health, like what have I got? I think I'd be like very depressed.
I said that today. Like, I don't have bad sessions. Very rarely do I have bad sessions. And I had kind of like a rocky start to a session today. And it just makes you think like, fuck, like if I feel like if I can't train well and if I can't train to the best of my ability, I don't know if this is a bad thing, but I feel like I don't have fulfillment in the day. I feel like it's taken something away from
Yeah.
me. Like training's kind of everything to my day. So like again, like I'm not gonna make decisions that are gonna stop me training for the rest of my life, in a sense. I'm not gonna
Mm.
train like this until fucking when I'm 40, 50 years old. I'll do different forms of training, but I won't be taking sacrifices that's gonna stop me that would stop me training. Like you say, if my health ever gets to that point or whatever it is, I won't take it. Because
That,
training's a thing
yeah,
that keeps me fucking sane and it gives me structure to every day. So that'll be in my life no matter what.
that's another thing of like why I don't want to go down the assisted route because over the last like 5, 6 years, well, 10 years of training, like as a natural, like, when you're a natural bodybuilder, your baseline is very steady.
Mm.
So, there's never ups, there's never downs. You can always train hard. You can always like I've always been able to control my output and control how I feel my training performance from nutrition, training, rest and recovery and stuff. And I think if there was and waves that I went through where I was like on cycle and off cycle and coming down, I don't think mentally I would that would sit well with me.
Because even psychologically, like it's bad because you're not any weaker, but you're like, I am
It's
because
just
I'm not on
I'm the
something.
type of person where psychologically that would fuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
know
that's,
now if I want to go and have a good session, I'll just double up on my carbs, get 8 hours sleep, and maybe triple scoop of pre-workout and stuff. And for me, that will give me like a high performance session. That'll be my sort of like, and I can control that very easily.
yeah. And also, again, I would say one less variable, but it's a lot less variables that need to be considered as well. You
But
simplify
even like
everything.
like the next 12 months, I'm gonna go back to like Marbella this summer, like traveling and stuff. Like I don't want to be thinking about like all of that stuff. I just want to be
Yeah.
on my diet, be able to go to and from the gym, nice and relaxed, stress free, and just the where I'm at now, I can live. I've been the same weight
You
for
can live.
five weeks,
I think that's the difference. You
five
can,
weeks now. Yeah,
yeah. I think the biggest thing is you can live life.
I can
Like,
live. All my blood markers are in green. I'm
yeah,
healthy. You know what I mean? I'm energized. I'm switched on. I'm focused. I've got good mental clarity. I like. I'm more. I'm more passionate about being healthy and in shape. Like I want when I do my blood work, I want everything to be
green, green.
bang green. Everything's like you are like. I actually got my blood work done yesterday and got my results back, and everything was perfect, like bang in the green.
Yeah,
So
same.
that's where I'm going to keep it, man.
Yeah.
I want to be like that, and I want to in the future. Like obviously, I'm getting older now. I'm not that old, 31, but
I was gonna
moving,
say, yeah.
but approaching the 40 marker. I think I'm going to go down the route of like helping like men sort of get that side of things in check because I work with a lot of men now, and like the hormones are all like they're fucked because they're unhealthy. They've got unhealthy habits. They don't sleep. They're
It's crazy.
stressed.
It's
And
crazy.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, things are out of whack. And for a lot of men now, if you bring those markers within whack, it's going to have a better quality of life. They're going to get in shape. So I think
Yeah.
that's like sort of a next chapter that I'm going to transition into.
Yeah,
Because
it's
right
very
now I feel good.
yeah. I think it's very different, isn't it, as well? Like when you I think obviously like me and you I've looked at blood work quite a lot this time over the last couple of years as well now and things like that. And you'd get more advanced at it and things like that. And obviously you work with Cal and things like that. And we've worked with coaches that are pretty fucking good at reading blood work now. And it's funny how you can literally just tell from blood work, just like actually what's up in their lifestyle. Like you can tell like certain
Yeah,
things,
you
even it's
can.
down to
You
like,
can.
oh, this is because you're stressed. This is because of this. Like before even
Hmm.
anything else, it's a very interesting kind of like the data
Even
that
the way like sort of like someone feels, yeah. Like I've got a guy there who feels like demotivated, tired, drained, and I've been figuring out, and I said to him, like, have you took any gear in like the last 12 months? And he's like, oh yeah, I had a PT, and he put me on like a 12-week cycle of test, and I just fucked it off. And I was like, do you know what that's done to your
yeah,
hormone
there
panel?
you
And
go.
he's like, no. And I'm like, well, I explained it to him, and he was like baffled. He was like, as if that's what happened. I didn't know. And I'm like,
Man, that's the thing now, and it's like fucking because I bet he's probably a younger guy, maybe. I don't know.
hey, he's old. He's older.
Is he? Fuck.
This guy's older, yeah. But he basically had a PT, and the PT was like, yeah, you need this, you need that. And he's just been like, okay, got on it, decided it wasn't for him. Um,
Hey, some
and
coaches are fucking
I
scary.
know that's what I said. That's what I
Fucking
said. And he went cold turkey, and like, he just feels like that. He's like, mate, I just don't want to train. I feel like shit. Like I don't know what it is. And when I've explained it to him in detail, I actually met him in Prophecy in the gym and had a chat with him.
That's good.
Um, he was like, wow. It's like it makes all perfect sense. I was like, well, this is what we're gonna do to sort of get it back. But mad.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. It is crazy, especially with males now. It's like we were looking at some random, we got in a dark moment. We were looking at like male suicides and things like that and how high it was and stuff like that. And it's crazy now because obviously for me, I'm a believer in like the thing that training really cements is a male in a sense is that when you really push the body and you do something hard every day with the body, it's just supposed to do that. It's supposed to do that. It's designed to do that. Like we were supposed to fucking hunt and gather. Like that's the way that I
Yeah.
see things. So now you get like guys like don't even have to go and ask someone out for a date. They just go on Tinder. So there's no fear.
There's no
There's no
pursuit.
hormone release. There's nothing. It's just emotional.
Yeah, yeah.
Like food, you just go on Deliveroo. So like males don't have to be males now. So then they wonder why, oh, I feel really fucking depressed. And I feel like, because you literally are, your body doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Like it's
That's
not
yeah,
producing
like
the testosterone levels that it needs because you're not giving it a reason to work.
mm, that's
It's
one thing why I do fasted cardio that because I'm like a big believer like as like a man like in the early days I think you should have woken up, not eaten for a while, sort of moved around and, looked for food kind of thing. So I'll wake up, do fasted cardio, sit for a bit, and then
yeah,
I'll eat. And that sort of feels like natural for me. That feels like it's
yeah.
what I'm meant to do. That gives me like the most mental clarity that.
But it does though, isn't it? But then when you break it down in anything, like we know fasting has its benefits from cognitive function alone. So we know
Mm,
fasting's good. So we know delaying that meal is good. And we know kind of like even just having discipline, like just don't wake up in the morning, eat straight away. Just push through the day, do some different things. We know how good it is for performance, like looking
mm,
after anything from insulin sensitivity. We know all this sort of stuff. And then we know just all these things. So you're like, it fucking makes sense. And like I want to do it, to be fair, I'm gonna do it before I start prep. I'm gonna like fuck it. I'm gonna do like as long fast as I can. I'll do like 36 hours. I'm gonna like do it as long as I can, sort of thing, just to
mm.
see.
I've never ever, have you ever done it before?
No, I've done
I've
like
never done it before. I
somewhat,
want to
but
try
not
it.
like
Now I'm not in like off season or like prep or that. Like I'm gonna experiment with a few things.
yeah, that would be sick. I think that's one of the biggest ones I want to do. I do want to do that, yeah. Especially
There,
when I
there, there, there was a time like where when I was on the motorway, I went through an experiment of it was super basic. I just basically cut my carbs through the rest of the day, and I put like a huge portion of carbs pre-workout, post-workout, and I got shredded. And I
yeah.
remember my mental clarity was really good. So my training performance was good, and my mental clarity through the day was good, and I felt like tight because obviously I'd tapered the carbs down, and my stomach was nice and tight. It just felt really good. I remember thinking I'll come back to that one day,
And you
but I
just
might
did
take.
fats and proteins for the other meals, sort of things.
I just did fats and proteins for the other meals and like
Yeah,
high veggies volume. But my post workout carbs were things like natural things like fruit, honey.
yeah.
There's things like I had like oats pre workout, banana, like berries and stuff, like lots of natural stuff. But I remember feeling good. Like my skin was good, my digestion was good, and I was at certain points of the day I felt good. And because I'd not had carbs through the day, once those carbs went in
Mm.
before training, I felt like Superman. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I'm all for, okay, we'll go on a tangent and I will let you go in a second. It's fine.
Oh no, no, it's good, it's good.
Um, I remember getting my bloods back from post show. So literally like 4 weeks post show sort of thing. So they're gonna be
Mhm.
fucking dog shit. And then especially if you got all this sort of stuff as well, it was gonna be shit.
Yeah.
And I actually got them back, and Cam was like, fuck, they're like some of the best bloods I've seen. And it's funny you said like I kept my food really simple pre and post workout. I just eat so much fucking fruit. Sounds really weird. Like
Fruit's so good.
probably probably 40-50% of my carb intake is fruit. Like I
Mm.
don't and things like that. And I don't really I eat cereal a couple times a week, even in off season, but I wouldn't in a prep sort of thing. Like generally, like otherwise
Yeah.
it's whole foods. I think generally like just doing simple shit like that, like just basic whole foods, like you
I
say,
you
pre and post workout
yeah.
nutrition, things like that. It's just so effective. Like basic.
Natural stuff. Like I definitely noticed that even now, like natural like, fruits, veggies,
Mm,
nuts, like everything that's like on the earth kind of thing. If you eat it, you feel good.
yeah.
It's it's not it's what we're meant to eat, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It sounds weird when you say it, but it's like fucking common sense. Like actually when
When
you
I
say,
eat high fruit, high veggies, I'm doing fasted cardio on the trip. Like right now, like that's the routine I'm in. Like I feel the best I've felt in like the last 12 months.
yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so good.
Over the last 12 months, there's been times where I've been like looking at my computer and I've just had like brain fog and
Yeah.
just been like, oh, I've either been digesting food because I've been pushing the off season, or I've been thinking about my next meal because I'm dieting. But right now, like, just I don't get brain fog at all now. I feel
Yeah,
very good.
that's really good, man. What is the focus for you at the moment, obviously now? So obviously you're in a good place, so you kind of just want to just focus on training performance right now, I'm guessing pretty much.
Yeah, well, right now, like business sort of declined a little bit because I was so focused. You know, it's like when you're just all in on prep, like it's hard. I just maintained last year. And like right now, I've been the same weight for the last 5 weeks. So I am just maintaining where I'm at. I'm still eating like 600 grams of carbs a day, which is weird. I'm just maintaining weight.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but you
but
can
I'm
just,
just gonna,
man, like you're,
yeah, I think majority of that's pre-post intra workout,
yeah,
and then
that's
tapers off through
very,
the rest of the day.
it's
Yeah,
very baseline for your training intensity as well.
yeah, because I was like pushing like nearly 800 with Carl like, on prep. So,
Yeah.
but I think for me right now, I'm just gonna hold this position and just like focus, put all of my energy into coaching, business, and like other areas of my life. Because this is what I mean. I don't want to hate bodybuilding because it takes away from my life. Like I've been so committed over the last few years and it's taken away from other areas. Like right now, I've got good mental focus, I've got good energy, I've got no like prep on my mind, off season on my mind, anything like that. I can just wake up and put all of my energy into work. And I've not felt like this for a long time. So I'm just gonna milk it for as long as possible. Because right now as well, I can travel, I can maintain my weight no problem. I can have off-plan meals, social events. I can do like whatever I want, whenever I want.
Yeah.
And my physique will stay the same and training performance will stay the same. So I think I'm just going to stay where I am. I'm not going to push for more size. Can't build much more size naturally anyway. And I'm not going to push to get leaner because I don't need to. I feel pretty
I
confident
just
now.
did a year of that. Fuck that. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like I might, when I was in photo shoot shape last year, I also felt really good there. So I think this year at some point I'll get back to that position because that didn't
How many weeks
compromise
out were
work.
you actually when you did your shoot? Because I saw you posted the picture the other day. Oh,
Um,
how many weeks
I
out?
don't know how many weeks out I was, but that was after 12 weeks of being on prep.
Oh, so it's not bad. That's you probably did
No,
quite
I didn't
prep for your
mental. Do
first.
you know when you get into prep and you become so regimented that you're really focused and you're switched on?
Yeah.
That's the position I was in. I was in a good routine. Everything was good. Energy was good. I was probably the strongest I'd been at that point. And then
Yeah.
after that, when I was pushing for condition, it started to decline then. Because Carl
Yeah.
was like, you've done your shoot. We need to like really like knuckle down now. But
Yeah.
I remember being in that position and like looking at myself and my physique and being like, this is where you need to come back to. Because you
Yeah.
look good, you feel good, like
I think I remember
confidence.
you saying like you that was yeah, I think I remember you saying like that was
Yeah, that
one,
was
you were really
easy.
happy with the shoot and you really fucking loved it and you were in
It was
like
yeah, it
there was
was
good
easy
hype
to
behind
get
it.
to. And I remember just being in that position and thinking like, if I want an off-plan meal now, I could easily maintain this physique.
Yeah, easy. Yeah,
And
yeah.
training was, do you know when you're like you get to a turning point on prep where body fat's at a certain position that you're vascular, and when you get a pump in the gym, say you train arms or chest, it's like skin bursting
Yeah.
because you're that lean. That's the position I was in. So every workout felt
Yeah.
great. I'd have
That's
my
it.
pre-workout, cream of rice, bit of jam, pre-workout, and then I just go, boom.
Yeah. And you're still eating enough where you're like, I'm not hungry. You've gone
Yeah, I
past
wasn't
kind of
hungry.
you've gone past that skinny fat kind of situation. Like, yeah,
Strength training performance in sessions didn't decline. Like I would still, my output was still the same at the end as it was at the beginning. And after that, when you're getting closer to show day, that window starts to close, doesn't it? And you sort of have to sludge through the end.
yeah. So funny. Yours was
But
probably the same. Like I was like, I'm good all the way till like honestly, like 3 weeks out, and then just boom, 3 weeks, fucking.
yeah,
And I was
I
like,
jin- I I jinxed myself because like
I
people
did
were
as
asking
well.
me. Yeah, I think Corey asked me in Benice. I think Corey said, Slee said,
Yeah.
are you dying yet? And I was like, no, I feel great. And he's like, it'll come. And then 2 weeks later, he see me and I was like on death's door and he's like,
Yeah, you can tell when someone's dragging their feet from that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really like, it was hard those last few. I've never dieted like that. Like that was tough. That
I think it was like when I was watching you because obviously you were back in the UK. I think that bit was the hardest bit, wasn't it, for you? For
that
like
was the hardest
in
bit for me.
between,
Yeah.
you had a bit of a gap between the shows or something like that.
Mm, that
Yeah,
was just because every show we did, like, because obviously I just started working with Cal. Cal was sort of like learning how I would like what was going on. So he's like, right, we've got the stage shots, we've had the practice run there. Like, let's chase for a little bit more condition now. now we've sort of figured out like the peaking process. So that last one, it was just like, right, I think he sent me a message saying like let's take it to the bone. I was like,
Oh, I remember
wow.
you telling me that. And you're like,
But
"Whoa."
I was ready for it, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
let's
you're
have it.
like
Every
fucking
time Carl sent me a message like, let's do this, I was like, right, let's go.
yeah,
Like I'm
fucking
all
send
in
it.
here. But there was, God, it was just so hard. Do you know, like, just doing like checking photos, you've not got the strength to pose.
Yeah. Just lifting your
It's
arms
just,
up. Yeah.
yeah, I just, God, it's so hard. That's what I mean. It takes away from business and stuff because you can't
It
focus.
it does, but then also it gives you the right to explode in business. It gives you the right to
Yeah.
people. It gives you all this sort of stuff. It gives you the credentials that you need, especially when you walked away with multiple top three placings. Do you know what
Well,
I mean?
I've got my trophy. I've done 12 shows now, and I've done top three in all of them, bar one.
Yeah.
So I've walked. If anyone ever comes to me, do you know what I mean? I've walked the walk, and
Fucking
I'm
show
glad
off.
I've been through. But I'm glad I've been through each phase because I've got clients
Yeah, man.
competing now. Like, so when they're in that phase, I'm never going to be in a position where I'm like, oh, I don't fucking really know what to do here. I'm going to be like, right, this is how
Yeah.
we feel. This is what's going to happen. I know exactly
Also,
how it felt.
you've had a few boys that have done quite well. I've seen, is it it's one guy, he looks great. He looks like a classic shape sort of thing. I don't know
Oh, is
what
it
he
Jack?
obviously trained. Yeah, I think he's done it. I think he's prepped with you before. He's done a show with you before.
Is it Brandon or Jack?
My name, yeah, Brendan. Brendan?
Brandon, yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon's
Yeah.
doing real.
He
I
looked
think,
he did that 12. I think you actually posted the other day. He'd like 12
yeah.
weeks. And I was like, yeah, he was
No, no,
fuck.
no, 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 that's Jack that.
Oh, okay. I'm
So
thinking of
Brandon's competed twice and Jack did. Jack's like a weird case though, because Jack's basically a guy that I know in the gym that when we sort of train at the same time, and he's got like really good genetics, like he's really good shape,
yeah,
but he
fucking
never
great shape.
competed. He never competed.
Oh
And
wow.
I always used to say to him, Jack, like, when are you going to get on stage? You just wasted potential. And he was like, nah, he's not really that passionate about competing.
It's quite cool though. I kind of respect it now. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm like, yeah,
But
good
then
on you. Get
yeah,
peeled and
he
just be
messaged
like,
me once. He messaged me saying, I've got a 12-week run where I've got no plans and I've seen this show, which was the MPA. He's like, should we do it? And I was like, look, if you want to do it, we'll do it. I was like, just follow my lead and just do exactly as I say. And he's like, all right, I'll fully commit to the 12 weeks. Like I'll block out my diary.
yeah,
And I was like, right, let's have it. And he just got fucking healed. I was
yeah, he was. He was
but
fucking
I
great.
peaked him so well. We went backstage, and when he started, we went backstage for a weigh-in, and when he got weighed in, he actually got pulled in for a polygraph because they thought he was on gear.
Oh, really? Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
they were like when he got undressed, stood on the scales, and like I seen like the organizers sort of like speaking, like, and then we went and sat down, and they come and grabbed him and said polygraph now. And
Yeah.
I was like, they've definitely seen him and thought he's juicing because he was on. We
Yeah. So
started
when they're
pumping up
full and
backstage.
yeah, when they're starting to pop, yeah.
The videographer, what was his name? Can't remember his name, but the videographer I had with me was filming and pumping up, and even the videographer looked at me and he was like, "Wow, he is blowing up." He just went, "Mm."
Yeah, that's sick,
And when
man.
he walked out on stage, you could hear people saying like, "Wow,"
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, fuck
he
yeah.
got
And
dominated that.
when you're a coach and you get that moment, you're like, it's such a
Yeah,
weird
I
silence
felt,
fulfilling moment.
I was just sat there like smiling, like, yes, because I knew,
Yeah, especially when
but
you
he
know you
won't
can
compete
do that.
again.
Mate, that's the thing, but it's good though. It's good for him to like to any, especially because he looks like a young guy as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
just said to him, if you're ever ready to come back, give me a shout. I was like, because he didn't want to do the finals, which is fair enough. But I
yeah,
said, look, Jack, if you ever want to go like all in on this, like it's there.
yeah.
The
It's
time
weird.
might come where he's like a big family man.
Yeah. How old is he? Is he middle like
He's a
mid
bit
20?
younger than me, but like he's settled. I think he's married now. I think he's like settled with his wife.
Okay, yeah. So he's yeah,
I think he's the same as me. Like, I think he enjoys the training side of things more, but he just wanted to see what he could do.
yeah.
It was
Fuck
funny because he on stage, he was just he's so relaxed, and like the judges and that were laughing. Like, how are
yeah.
you so like he just used to walk on stage and he was like,
Just grinning, just chilled. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
awesome.
Brandon's competing this year, so we had last year off.
Nice.
Because the last time I prepped him, he just needed more muscle because he was young, And I could have been honest with myself and honest with Brandon. Like I could have peaked them better. And now with the knowledge that I've got and the shows that I've been through and like the
Well,
experience, I've learned a
yeah, and
ton. Then
you got data as well, right? That's the nice
I've
thing. You
got
got
all
data.
this data from his previous shows, and
Yeah,
I just know this year is the year for Brandon. Like I know exactly what I'm going to do. I've already mapped out his year for him in his progress tracker. We've got a few shows lined up, photo shoots lined up, and I know like how I'm going to peak him and how I'm going to bring him in. But he's a big boy now for a natural,
yeah, that's good.
so he's bigger than me, big.
Wow. Yeah, he's got a
But
good
he's
great shape as well.
200 I think 220 pounds the heaviest he's been. He's
What is
hovering around 216 now because we pulled back a little bit just
yeah,
he lost his appetite a little bit because he was pushing so hard. So we're just resensitizing a little bit, and then start pushing again. But he's big. When he
yeah,
diets down, like it's gonna be good.
yeah, man. Fuck, exciting year for you, bro. So it's cool. Well,
Mm.
I'll see you in in Marbella. That's our plans for at least a month. So it's
So
cool.
are you going to Marbella? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we just try. We want to get out of Dubai for at least a little bit in summer. Like we're going to be in prep,
Yeah.
but we do want to be in routine. But we're thinking like the beginning kind of part of summer, like at least get out for it for a little bit.
Right,
Um,
end of April-ish, May-ish.
I think just wing it as soon as it starts getting fucking hot, go sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So kind of push it to that point, and then just go, and then we'll have a nice month there because it's great. She's never been as well, so it'll be sick kind of thing just to experience it
Super
all.
chilled, man. I'm gonna drive there.
Oh, you said, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Are you
I've
good?
I've put, I've, put, I've planned a road trip there, so I'm going to do a road trip through Spain. Got about 8 different countries on it. Well, 8 different places to stop.
Oh, sick.
Because the last time I drove there with JJ, like we drove straight from Santander to Madrid and then Madrid to Marbella, and we did it as quick as we could.
Yeah,
But I remember doing it thinking, wow, like
there's some
this would be
cool spots.
amazing if we stopped off and like actually enjoyed this drive. Because when we were in Madrid, we parked up, we explored the city, we seen new places, met some people, had some drinks. Like it was amazing. And I remember
Yeah,
thinking, wow, it's a shame that we're only stopping in one place. So I'm
especially
literally gonna zigzag down Spain and stop in loads of different like
yeah,
places.
especially in Spain, man. Spanish culture, you stop anywhere, they'll welcome you and things like that. It's
It's
great.
that, but it's good for car, like, because I'm a big car guy as well. Like the roads, like when I
Yeah,
was driving to Madrid, I was fucking flying. I was doing like 130 all the way. It was amazing. I had the
yeah,
windows down, music on, going through tunnels, mountains. I had music blasting. I was like, this is
yeah,
unbelievable. I thought if there was like 4 or 5 more of us here and we all had fast cars, this would be like some heavy shit.
that's sick. Yeah, because I used to actually, because in the Pyrenees, so in Catalonia, I used to compete there a lot with kayaking.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I remember we used to drive down all the time. We used to drive there all the time,
I
and
bet
it
the
was
roads are amazing there.
so nice, man. So nice. I was kind of young. I was probably like anything from 12 all the way to kind of through 16 sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I didn't like take it in as much now. But if I did it again, man, it'd be stunning. And then especially if you kind of just did the coastal route coming back down to Marbella and things like that, it'd be sick, man. It'd be
That's well, yeah. Because like in a position now, I've got no mortgage, I've got no kids, I've not got nothing like that. I'm in a position where I can drive fast cars and enjoy them. Like I want to milk it, and that's like a sort of a once in a lifetime thing. That a road trip through Spain, like it's not something that you get to do all the time. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna spend the summer in Marbella, I think.
sick, man. Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, so yeah, we're out there for a bit of it, so it'll be sick. So exciting, man. So it's good. Where do you normally train when you're there? Do you just bounce around?
Well, I was just straight in M13 because
Yeah.
it was like the most hardcore place. It's like where I felt most comfortable. Paddle was good, but it was just too
I
busy.
I don't like it, man. Is that really
Nah,
bad?
I don't like it. I didn't like
Okay,
it.
I liked it because of the hype for about a day, and then I
Same.
realized that it was like
It's a social spot.
it's just shit equipment, and I hate training on shit. It sounds bad, but I hate training on shit.
Yeah, it's shit equipment, and the majority of it's too busy. Like it's not a bodybuilding gym. It's good for just like
And it's
you
not as
know the
big as people make out. Like,
no, it's tiny.
yeah, it's not. Like everyone's like, it's the biggest gym, but I mean, yeah, but it's mostly fucking like cross country shit.
But
Like,
there's a new oxygen gym there, isn't there?
oh, is there?
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna go back. So there's M13 and there's oxygen as well. It's in Marbella. So
As in
there's
like Middle East
M13.
oxygen.
Yeah, yeah. So there's M13, Oxygen, there's the Ultimate Performance, and there's Padel. So that there's four like really good gyms. That's why I want my car as well, because you can just drive to and from and just like
Which one's
rotate.
Thingy's gym? Is that M13? That is his gym, isn't it?
So
That's
it's not
Dorian.
his gym. He's just
Oh, he just based
affiliated
there.
with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
someone else owns it, but he's just like that's where he trains, and he's just got something. He's just sort of like part of the branding, I think.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, that is M13. That's the
But
place
it's
I think I would like to train out most.
yeah, that's where I train. That you get like a home comfort at some gyms, don't you? And that's where I felt most comfortable. I
Because I
just
see
train
the
there all the
videos
time.
there and I kind of just like the even just like how it's a little bit not darker, but I just like that kind of like that.
Yeah, it's my kind of vibe.
Yeah, I prefer that. Yeah, so that'd be sick, mate. Easy. That's awesome. So it's perfect, man. No, honestly, I won't keep too much of your time because this is cool. Um, but with the 1% podcast as kind of just the last words, what is that one thing that you can tell the listener or give the listener advice on that one thing that's going to take them 1% further forward tomorrow?
Good question. Um, I would say um, don't be afraid to ask for help with something that you need. So what I mean by that is keeping it short. Like when I was first coaching, I probably would have benefited a lot more from having a mentor or speaking to someone better than me or someone who was in a position where I wanted to be, but I sort of had a little bit of ego. But if I would have done that, it would have like put me miles ahead. And I say that to lots of people I work with now.
Yeah, 100%,
If I
man.
would have just gone to someone who was where I wanted to be and said, "What are you doing? Can you help?"
Yeah,
It would
100%.
instead of being like, "Oh, I'll figure this shit out on my own."
Oh, it's pointless, man. Because like I was just it's that same thing. If you like said, "Hey, like, what would you wish you did like 5 years ago?" I'm like, "Fucking done the shit that I did in the last year." Like, like
Yeah, that's literally it. Like I see a lot of coaches and stuff failing now because they're like, I don't need a mentor. I don't
the
need this. I do that,
arrogant
and they're just the
coaches. Oh,
arrogant people, and they just go round and round and round in circles, and eventually they quit when they
yeah.
should have just gone, what are you doing?"
There's nothing wrong with like I'm the same. There's nothing wrong being like I actually don't fucking know. And even if you are
Uh,
well knowledged, it's okay to feel like, bro, I feel really lost right now. I have good knowledge, but I feel fucking lost and I don't have clarity.
there's
Like,
loads of things right now I don't know, and I'm actively reaching out to people and saying, "Teach me."
yeah, 100%, yeah. And it's like even like and again, I think we're saying this like, oh, you have to pay someone. I'm like, you probably don't. Like, even if you just ask the question to someone that you remotely look up to, they will tell you something for free to give you a tip or something like that.
I've had some of the best conversations in Dubai, yeah, with people at like coffee tables, beach
Oh,
clubs,
yeah, man.
workouts. I've had some of the most valuable information in the space of like 10 minutes, just sitting down with someone and being like, oh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
Like,
I've had some people, I won't name names, but like I've asked them direct and they've
yeah,
told me, and I've been like, fuck.
yeah, yeah,
It's
100%.
just,
Yeah, and it blows your mind or it opens up your mind to the possibility what's there.
yeah.
These
So for
things.
like someone who wants to move 1% forward, like that, I would say that's a game changer. Like whatever position you're in, if you reach out to someone, it's going to move you forward more than 1%.
Amazing. There you go. Past 1%, love it. So it's awesome. Where can everyone stalk you, follow you? What's the best way to kind of find out more?
Instagram, Instagram, Bennett underscore coach by JB, or my other page, which is team coach by JB, or my private, Bennett underscore. I've got three.
Oh, is that your life? That's your one where you kind of just do lifestyle stuff, is it?
Yeah, like my personal one is more of like my personal memory bank. Because when
Oh,
you've
nice.
got you probably know yourself, like when you're a coach, your Instagram page is just training, nutrition,
Yeah.
bar. And when I look back through that, I can't really sort of see any memories. So like on my private, I just sort of post like where I've been, like so when I
Yeah.
scroll through my personal now, I can just scroll back and be like, it's all the places that I've been. So that's what that is for me. It's just like sort of like a memory bank.
Yeah, sick. I love that, man. Awesome.
Because I
No,
have got like you, like we have got a life outside of coaching. You know what I mean?
yeah, we try to anyway. We try and live a life. That's
Try
it.
to, yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it's awesome, man. No, brilliant. I will put all of Jay's information, things like that, in description boxes and everything like that below. But yeah, honestly, guys, definitely reach out to him. Yeah, I think that's the nice thing. I've had the pleasure of training with you, number one. I've had the pleasure of just having small conversations with you and things like that. And even this podcast, probably the longest one to date. So well done. So
Is
that,
it?
so yeah, it's again, I never bring people on here that I don't look up to or I don't. Number one, I don't want to fucking waste an hour of my life with. So definitely just shoot him a message. He's an incredible guy. So thank you so much for your time, buddy.
Thanks for having me.